Astral Odyssey contains mature themes such as raunchy jokes, intense combat, and colorful language. Everything you'd expect from a space pirate crew. Viewer discretion is advised. To give us a recap of last session. I think a lot of you are missing inspiration now, correct?
Yeah.
I think everybody used an inspiration last mission there.
You know, so much happened last episode.
Last time,
Yeah.
we were on a ship. All of us. But some of us were on a different ship. Half of us even. Alwyn, Ash, and Hank were doing their best to escape the Marshall ship. Meanwhile, Dee Dee and Aster prepared to attack the Marshall ship. Some hijinks were had. Alwyn was abandoned by Hank in his truest time of need, and then shot a bajillion times, nearly dying. And then Hank also ran over Ash with the vehicle that they were initially traveling in. But they escaped after the crew of what was once the Crow Song shot a ingenuity bomb crafted by Dee Dee, a spore explosion that kept it in place. And then the three of them, escaped. And then the Marshall ship was blown to bits. And they all lived happily ever after.
Yeah, you hit the major points there. So as far as you all know, they have Alwyn's identity, they have Hank's identity, and I don't know if they ever caught a really good look at Ash, honestly. So Ash might have gotten out of there scot-free, but 2 out of 3 is not bad for the Marshals, and they have a pretty good read on you all as you have been taken away. You guys make your way back to the Sacrificium Soleil. The Marshall ship destroyed and venting out into space as you all turn and start booking it. You 3 that were on the Marshall ship get back on board and park the lander back in the hangar as you all are about to take off. Sorry, let me get us to the system map. So, the Marshall ship had gotten to here by the time you all had intercepted them there. So the Sacrificium Soleil is now jetting away from the crash site of the Marshall ship, heading back towards the asteroid belt in the Larkus system. I will bring us back into the session, kind of right where we left off with the 3 of you. You've just sat down in the hangar bay of the Sacrificium Soleil. The ship's already spinning up its engines and moving. You all had to catch it on the move. Landing in there, Ash, you immediately see that most of your boarding party is tethered up and waiting in the hangar. A couple people on bikes ready to go out and grab you all if they needed to, but you all were able to make it back without them having to do that. So you all have just sat back down, and I will bring us back to that moment since when we left, Ash and Alwyn, neither one were very thrilled with what had happened on the Marshall ship.
Rug, I'm going to need a new hat and a new coat.
No, I have your coat. Don't worry. It's just like pulls it off him.
I think I'm going to have to burn this one.
Alwyn just kind of slides off the front of the shuttle and collapses onto the deck with riddled with a few holes and then a burning hand imprint on his calf. And still fucking handcuffed. And he's gonna look around. Could I get a fucking smoke at some point and these damn handcuffs off?
Yes. Nadi, is she around here, or the actual doctor, not Hank?
Nadi,
We need to
if you
get-
could please remove these for him.
She nods for a second and thinks about how to do that. Then she just kind of shrugs and druid crafts against the keyhole of the handcuffs to try to form a key out of it. She'll roll for this though. I'll roll this in front of the board. We're gonna call this a Arcana. Oh, nat 20. It works flawlessly. She just kind of like jams Rosite in there. Whatever locking mechanism had kept these in place just is overpowered by the crystals growing inside of it. So with a shearing sound of metal, the handcuffs come undone and leave your hands.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nadi.
Dee Dee crossed her arms and kind of grumbled. You should have left those on him for a while.
That is a horrible thing to say, or did you just want me handcuffed? Alright, is that the thing?
Next time, don't get caught.
You know, I will try to remember that next time I have a cannon locked onto my rather chiseled posterior.
Dee Dee kind of shrugged and smiled. Just be smaller, like me, harder to hit.
You know, can't argue with that. And I wish I could have a better backport for you, but I'm still oozing and I need a smoke because I have a headache.
Well, at least I can fix part of that, and I'm going to give you 14 HP from my lay on hands. Just tapping you on the shoulder.
You know,
DM, does halfling leaf exist in your
Why not? Yeah.
universe?
Pipeweed. Sure.
Can Dee Dee just have one that she pulls out and tosses to Alwyn? Pre-rolled, ready to go.
Sure. That's fine. Yeah. You can have some halfling leaf. You can have a halfling leaf joint if you want.
Nice! Dee Dee will kind of pull one out of her pocket and hand it to him on the underhand down low and be like, do not tell anyone I have these and do not share it. And then she left to go check on Kai, seeing everybody else was alive and fine.
oh no, yeah, mum's word. Yeah, okay, thanks, Hank. Yeah, alright, that put something back to where it's supposed to be. Yeah, next time, before you just, like leave without a word, can you just say, hey, I'm jumping out this hole? Instead of just leaving me with, 6 guys and me and my britches?
I will apologize. I should have said something before. That is on me. I'll endeavor not to do something like that.
You are incredibly fortunate. He survived.
Listen, it would have been fine. I had full confidence.
And you are doubly lucky that I survived.
You were in a crowd of 8 guards, and you were dressed up exactly like them. How was I supposed to know you were one of them?
Correct, and I was not expecting you to ram a vehicle inside of that ship.
I'm sorry, Ash. You should have seen your damn face whenever you shifted about mid pop up there.
Listen, it's like you said, targets of opportunity. If I knew you were there, I wouldn't have rammed you with the car. I'm sorry for ramming you with the car, but if We had no way to know who was who.
The layers of failure of what could have gone wrong. You never cease to amaze me with your stupidity. But I will save it for later. I have things I need to report.
I mean, all in all, we just destroyed like one of the Marshall ships without taking any damage, aside from me.
I also got shot for like 30
And
seconds.
we also need to leave before more show up.
You all are interrupted in the hangar where this conversation is happening by the intercom system on the ship and the captain's voice saying, "If those chuckle fucks are back on board, get them up here now."
That is our cue.
Looney, are you smoking that halfling weed?
He's gonna go into the shuttle, get his britches on proper, and he's gonna store that for later. But he's gonna grab one of his regular cigarettes for now.
Coward.
Sure.
If I've got to pilot the ship, I'd rather not do it high.
So you just have like a tank top and your like pants on. You didn't get like your coat or your hat or all your other stuff.
He's kind of doing the shuffle walk while throwing things on.
Channeling your inner redneck right now with your wife beater and your jeans and your
I don't
cigarette.
think,
Yeah.
I'm wearing the wife beater.
I don't think any of us are actually wearing our clothes right now.
Yeah,
know,
we head up to the-
He at least gets his hat on with his pants and boots. Everything else, he's just kind of dragging behind him.
Okay. Everyone gets back to... we'll stay in the system view for now. But... Looney, your mic's still open, by the way. You all get back up to the command bridge of the Soleil, where the captain is currently steering you all away. The Marshall ship still kind of exploding in the background. And the Broderick brothers are up there looking very concerned as they are kind of culpable for killing a bunch of police officers now. The captain looks over her shoulder at the three of you walking back and kind of like raises an eyebrow like, none of you look fucking good. All right, tell me what happened.
Alwyn, you first.
Oh, well, I mean, I was dropping off the lunchbox, and then I got spotted, and we decided to have ourselves a game of, like, tag in between the asteroids, and they got a lucky pop-off on the back engine, and that's when I either had to take on a whole squad by myself, or play possum, and so I played possum.
And you know that he did not come back, and Hank and I went out looking for him. And it wasn't long after I sent you the sending message that they took us in, and we were pretending to be a couple to disguise ourselves, which went well, and then Hank got himself arrested, and, well, things escalated from there.
The arresting part was on purpose. It was there for us to sort of confirm that, like, I could at least deal with Alwyn and, like, break him out. Well, Ash could do stuff himself. I knocked off a key card for him as well. And everything after that was sort of not amazingly planned, but...
The captain kind of nods and sighs. And all right, well, not much helping it now. We kind of got to get packing. she looks over at the two Broderick brothers and says, hey, where can your ship meet us? We need to get you all off here because we need to get out of the system. And the two brothers kind of like shake their heads. They're like, how do you plan on getting out, love? The kind of scrawnier Anders says as he walks over to where you all are standing on the bridge and says, there's a net around the entire system. I mean, they know everyone coming in and out. And she shrugs. Well, we'll just speed past them. It's fine. And he shakes his head. He goes, I've never heard it being done before. Honestly, lass, I'm not sure if that's even possible. And he's interrupted from his explaining as Dee Dee, you see on the comm screen another all channels broadcast coming out. And everyone in the bridge kind of all looks at this like blinking incoming message for a second, and the captain sighs again.
Lean forward and hit the button to start playing the message.
Coming over a view screen on your all's ship is another image of Davith Grimbrook. That same kind of pudgy with the handlebar mustache and the long sideburns and the kind of balding head and his very formal clothes, but his face is bright red. And he kind of humps for a second and says, I extended a hand of friendship to those travelers, and they have spit in our faces. All citizens of the Lacris system, be warned, there is a band of murderous fugitives among us. My marshals will be tireless in their pursuit. We will find them. And then it cuts off. The captain kind of sits back in her chair and is like, yeah, see, we need to skedaddle, gang. Dee Dee, I know we need parts, but how quick can we get to PAX and get what you need? Like, how much time do you actually think that would take?
Dee Dee put her elbows on the desk of the console and kind of put her face in her hands, thinking, we won't be able to take very many people with us to help do this if we want room in the cruiser for everything we need, but and she kind of did some quiet math in her head, and she Captain, if we can coordinate to have a couple of people hook up the wing components I need for towing behind the cruiser, and the rest of the people put all the parts that I need on the cruiser itself, and everything, and get it done all at once, then maybe... And she kind of thought about, the crew that she had planned to take with her for this, and she was like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, Captain. I would prefer 10, but... And that's only after we locate the big wing components. I mean, everything else is common to a lot of ships, and I could probably pull it off any wreck, but the wing components are the big one.
So, I think that you would understand from your time on these other ships and stuff, Dee Dee, that for a lot of the smaller things like the cooking range and some like components to be able to fix the ship and stuff like that, that shouldn't be hard to find. I mean, that kind of scrap is everywhere, that you can get something and get it working. It doesn't have to be perfect like condition or anything. Anything really large you're wanting to get for the ship, first off, you don't have a good way to get it back on the ship. The Soleil can make planetfall if you need to, but it's going to be a slow process, so that's going to add time getting the ship in and out of atmosphere, and then getting a way to load it onto the ship. You all don't have, like, a crane or anything, so it would have to be a full landing, and then, like, essentially getting a bulldozer to carry the item over and place it on the ship or something like that. Like, just anything too large is just going to be a pain in the ass to try to, like, load onto the ship in time for you to take off, even if you're not installing it yet.
Oh, I know. That's why I talked about, like, tow netting.
You could set up something like that. time on planet, though, I think 5 to 10 minutes would not let you get that much. You could make a trip that short, but I'll give you a very small window of opportunity to like get a couple key essential things you need. Like total time from when you all are like at Atmosphere and PAX to leaving, if you're wanting to get everything on your shopping list, if you're wanting to get everything on your shopping list, is like 4 or 5 hours.
I mean, sort of yes and no. Like real life, if you were to put straps on like a 20-foot fishing boat to crane it out of the water like they do, it takes like 10 minutes to put those straps on there. And I mean, like, what I'm thinking is we go out there like tow hooks on trucks, and we just put cables around whatever wing components we need and take off. And we can lift off dragging
You
them
don't
off.
have
It
any of
shouldn't
those
take-
things, though. You don't have like a tow net or anything like that. To like, part of the reason you need to stop here is you don't have any resources to build stuff like that.
I mean, sure, but I'm assuming we could just find cabling or...
I mean, maybe you're
anything
searching a
there.
junkyard planet, you know. It's possible. Absolutely, you could, but it's hard to give a good guess on time without knowing, you know, where this stuff is.
Sure. I mean, I guess that would be my guess on time then if we knew where all that stuff was. That's what I'm saying.
The captain kind of nods and thinks for a second. He's like, "All right, what's the essentials?"
Honestly, Captain, my opinion is the essentials that change the outside of the ship. Most physical, or our most notable physical appearance is probably the first thing. I know that we really want to build Alloin a galley, but honestly, we don't have to get all of those parts now. There's no reason I can't just trade with people we find in repairs or anything else to acquire those things. I would say our big physical identifiers are the biggest priority. So in my honest opinion, Captain, it is the wing components are the most important. Because if we change what the ship looks like from the outside, it's going to be a lot harder for someone to want to come investigate further if we look like we're not worth bothering with at all.
She nods a bit and thinks for a second, just kind of taking out her canteen and taking another really long swig of it as she kind of leans back in the captain's chair, and she says, "All right, hey Broderick's, you two are gonna earn your keep. You're gonna head with my friend Dee Dee here and give her as best of a map of that planet as you can. We've got 3 hours until we make contact with the asteroid belt. So if Dee Dee, if you could have a good plan by then, we'll see if we can get rid of these two and make a break for PAX before we head out."
DM, is there any way if Dee Dee spent time with the Broderick brothers in this time and like you said going over the maps and stuff, could that give me some advantages later if I kind of pinpoint like big wrecks that they know?
Yeah,
and things
absolutely.
that they
That's kind of why the
know?
captain is suggesting is because they said that they know that planet really well and the junkyard really well. So she's trying to give you an opportunity to have a better role whenever you all are doing your stop real quick.
Yep, Dee Dee's gonna walk up to the Broderick brothers and hand them both giant markers basically and said, "What do you think, gentlemen? Can you show me where to start?"
Yeah, they both take my... absolutely, miss. Please show us to a map. And Maddox kind of grunts and nods and follows his brother as that you lead them both. We're going to say that you just go into like the captain's ready room to look at one of the maps on that TV there so they can start giving you advice on where different wrecks are and stuff.
Sure.
What is everyone else doing now that you're back on board the boat? The captain has a course set. You all currently head towards the asteroid field, but there's a few hours available. Part of it could be spent on getting stuff ready to try to fit a bunch of cargo onto the Soleil, or creating some tools or things that could be useful to grab this stuff quickly. you all know that you're currently being hunted by the marshals. So anything you do has to be quick while you're here in this system, and then try to make your dash out of it. So, what's everyone else up to?
Aster would like to, I guess, take this time first, I guess, to talk to the captain. I guess I'll kind of stay around while everyone else wanders off. Captain, I suppose this means our stop at the other planet is not happening.
The main city planet.
The agriculture planet.
Oh, Agus, no. Why would we go there? Oh, for food.
Precisely.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't.
Indeed.
I don't think we'll even end up having a kitchen by the end of this trip, if I'm being honest with you.
I suppose I should check our food stores then, see if I can figure out how these damned machines work.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. I've had nothing but Twinkies for like 3 days now, and I'm starting to feel it, honestly.
While I'm there, I suppose I can see if I can fix this issue. But that may require Dee Dee's assistance at some point.
Yeah, no worries. You mind taking Kai with you? He's been up here the whole time. He's driving me up the fucking wall. Kai in his or in their little spacesuit is just kind of tumbling through the air right now. They are pushing a lot of buttons. Any button that they come across, they're trying to press right now, and the captain's getting exhausted.
Oi, come along. It is time for you to learn some things.
Give me a persuasion check.
No more magic tricks.
Oh, I would very much like to teach him one, but I can't. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a 14.
14. Okay. You kind of catch Kai's attention. They kind of land on the ground and start toddler walking their way to you, like with those uneasy steps, just trying to like follow the hem of your cloak for a bit as you start to walk out of the bridge. And then they reach their arms up for uppies from you.
Do not try that trick with me. You can walk, and the only way your muscles will get stronger is if you continue to do so.
You turn around and feel Kai's weight settling on your shoulders as you give them a piggyback ride. Kai tries to steer you by pulling on your hair in different directions.
Just this once, I suppose.
Yeah, Kai has a great time as you walk down to the automats where the food is being automatically produced.
It's like a vending machine, right?
So I described it as one of those 1980s, 1960s style,
like Star Trek-esque. You push the button and it
No. There's things in pre-made cubbies. So there's like a row of like these little refrigerated cubbies at like the top with like key lime pies, and then there's a row beneath it with like it's just these insulated boxes with different food like prepared in each of them, and it just seems to refill at the end of every day with different food based on some schedule. You're not sure.
Okay. Can I try to open it up and see if there's like a back end to the machine behind the front?
Sure.
Like I said, I'm trying to see, I guess, if there's like a gauge of like how much supplies this thing has.
Sure. It's easy enough to crack open a part of it. You see kind of the dark gray tablets etched with like these sets of complicated arcane rules and everything of the way different spells are supposed to go off at a different time. And it seems like... actually, give me an Arcana check as you check out the internals of this machine.
18.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. With an 18, you are able to pick out runes very quickly because you know this spell. There is a produce food and water or create food and water spell kind of inlaid into this with a couple different seems like just extra parameters added to it for like what is being produced and how often it's being produced. And then there's a little arcane battery like seated back behind some of these panels where all of this like arcane circuitry is put together. That seems like a little just elemental energy source.
Okay. Is there a way to tell how much juice it has?
Yeah, we'll go off that same Arcana check. It seems like the juice for this in particular, if it was running without the engines running, could last for maybe like a week. But as the engines are active and expelling some of that like raw, potent elemental energy, it feeds that back into the circuitry of the ship. So every time the engines are started up, that excess energy kind of infuses into the rest of the systems of the ship. So it seems fully topped off right now, but if it was disconnected, it would like do 7 more casts of create food and water before it ran out of energy.
Okay. Does the battery pack or charging thing, whatever, look replaceable? Is it like just kind of like a couple of screws holding it in?
I mean,
and
yeah,
or is it like,
essentially, it's a part.
okay,
It seems
just
like
if we needed to do repairs.
yeah, if you needed to steal this from this machine, even if you're not entirely confident you could, you're pretty sure DD's done that a million times. But it doesn't seem too complicated based on the way you see the essentially spell work laid out in front of you.
Lovely. I assume if I go check the other machine, because I think there's one in like the arcade, and then there's one at the end by the crew quarters, right?
We will go back to the Soleil real quick.
But I assume it's just the same thing, like it's topped up for now.
Correct. Yeah. The engines have been running consistently for almost 2 weeks now, so everything is very well topped off.
Okay.
As you are putting the panel back in, you look around and you don't see Kai anywhere.
Boy, where are you?
You don't know if Kai's a boy.
True.
You hear a giggling somewhere close by. Give me a perception check.
Honestly, I feel like fucking Kratos.
Boy.
That's a nat 20.
Holy shit. Okay. You turn immediately as you hear this giggle and look at the top shelf and see that Kai is inside one of these little like cubbies. Seems to be like trying to eat a piece of pie, but mostly playing with it, since he doesn't, or they don't eat this stuff. So, but they're locked inside one of these things.
Locked as in if I try to open it, I can't?
Yeah, apparently it read that the food was taken, so it locked that stall for it to be replenished tomorrow.
Oh, did you get in there?
Kai looks at you from the little window and sticks a hand up to it and waves a little at you. Like grasping their hand in like a closing motion a couple times for a wave.
Are you able to get out of there as well?
They just kind of babble and play with the pie.
Well, Boy, it's seeming...
Make you deal with child problems.
God damn. Can I try to brute force just rip it back open?
Sure, give me a strength check.
Oh, we'll do this one in game. That's fine. $12. That's -1, so that's an 11. Probably not.
Nope, it seems pretty securely locked. Kai kind of laughs as you jiggle the handle some.
If you are able to get out of there, I would prefer not to have to break this.
They kind of hit their fist against the glass, but it's covered in pie. It kind of smudges it a little bit. And they turn around and start just playing with one of their moons, kind of suckling on it a bit. You watch as like the bright, vibrant color of a rose, miniature rose moon, like turns a shade paler as they suck on it.
One day, you will tell me how you harness that power. But I suppose it would not be good to leave you in there. Aster's gonna, I guess, walk down the hallway to, like, just the end, like here, so he can still see Kai stuck in the machine, and he's just gonna call for either DD or Hank, whoever answers first.
What? What can I do for you?
Bring your hammer.
Okay. I guess I'm going to bring my axe and walk down.
Dee Dee heard her name and then the word hammer and shouted down the hallway, "What are you doing to my machines?"
We will only break part of it. Hopefully, at least. And I'm gonna ask Hank to try to break it open.
Yeah, you grab Hank and you both start walking back down the hallway. You get to where the automat is, and Kai is not in that cubby anymore. Both of you give me a perception check.
Doctor, have I expressed how much I detest children yet?
Well, that's a nat one, 3. Well, Kai grows on you, right? You should see some of the stuff I taught him.
That's a 15 for me.
Okay. With a 15, you look up as you see like kind of drag marks and handprints out of key lime pie tracing their way along the ceiling and going into one of the crew quarters.
Boy, let's follow it.
Yeah, you all walk in. It's just this crew quarter right beside the automats. You walk in to see Lash just kind of lounging in a chair. A couple other of the crew members like talking over in a corner, eating some food. Everyone just got off that red alert, so everyone's getting something to eat or snack on. But all of them just kind of pause and look at the two of you as you walk in.
Where is the kid?
Lash shakes his head, and the other two in the corner, it's Iga and Gorebearer, kind of both shake their head too. You look up, and it seems like the marks on the ceiling continue on and go into a vent in one of the corners.
I assume I'm not small enough to go in after him.
Correct. These are like your home vents where, you know, it's that like just kind of little rectangular block.
Well, in the time that we've been around Kai, is there anything that we know that he's particularly, like, really fond of besides his moons?
He seems to like animals from some of the video games and stuff. He always seems to gravitate towards anything with animals in it or anything with like shiny and flashy lights. Also seems to like drawing on stuff, as there are now a couple parts of the Sacrificium Soleil that have Kai original pieces on weird corners and on ceilings, as this floating child can kind of draw wherever.
Remember those medical how-to books you gave me? Do any of them have non-human medical drawings? Because I'm going to try and say, oh, look at these cool, amazing images, and like, wow, and then I'm going to do like the standard like baby talk, like, look at how cool they are, but I'm going to say them like really loud.
Are you going to say it like into the vent, like get up on a chair?
Yes.
All right, Astro, what are you doing?
You know, I'm gonna stand to the side and see if this thing happens.
Sure. Give me a persuasion check, Hank.
Oh,
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna. Well,
that's a nat
not at
20,
first.
27.
Not at first.
Nat 20 for a 27. You start talking about how cool these pictures are and stuff, and you see a little space helmet kind of poke over the edge with this pair of black hole-like eyes with a like ring of gold with like a bit of an echo to them, kind of peek over and trying to get a look at whatever is being talked about in such an excited tone.
I'm just gonna like keep pointing. It's like, and that is a gallbladder. Look at how cool that gallbladder is with this Lorax and.
God, that should have worked, but a nat 20 is a nat 20. Kai drops out of the vent, and it looks like a tumble of a toddler, like a fall, like that kind of free fall in air for a second before they just kind of catch themselves with a little like bounce in the air as they start floating again and looking over Hank's shoulders. Hank, you see them like point to a page and just make it excited, like, I'm not bagadumba.
That's what we call a halfling. I think they're all allergic to peanuts, but I'm not sure yet.
All right, let me write that
Do you
down
want
for
to see
Kai.
more amazing?
While Kai is enthralled with this book, I'd like to try to sneak up behind him and like grab him by like the back of the shirt.
Give me a stealth
The
check.
back of his suit. Yeah. Oof. No.
No.
4. I am very loud.
Wow.
Seeing this
You
guy
try to
know
sneak up.
interpose.
You try to sneak up. Kai's gonna banish you. Give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay.
For banishment?
Or no, it's not. It's not wisdom, is it? Let me look it up.
It's charisma.
Yeah.
I believe.
Charisma save.
You're within 10 feet, so plus 4.
It's a DC 22 charisma save.
Well, he's on the...
3. There's 0 chance.
Aster disappears. As Kai like kind of moves over to your other shoulder, just hearing like someone tried to sneak up on him. They like reflexively just try to hide behind you, Hank. But you look back behind you, you don't see anything behind you, where Aster had been standing.
Come on. How about this? Kat, would you want to see more cool things? But I'm going to need you to bring Aster. Can you bring Aster back for me?
Aster,
Aster.
you find yourself standing at the precipice of a black hole, the event horizon bending around you as time and space loses all meaning and concept. Time flows. It could be 10 million years as you watch universes die and pass and get reborn over and over again at this infinite space, this infinite moment, and then you're back on the Sacrificium Soleil as Hank asks for Aster back.
Oh, you're such a smart boy. Kai, let's go.
Not a
and
boy.
have
Stop calling Kai a boy.
You're a nice dragon species that I don't know the gender yet. I'm barely confident in humans right now. I am not a very good doctor.
Aster, you pop back into existence, and time reasserts itself and has meaning again to you.
I suppose. I I suppose that must be a glimpse of what my father sees. Truly, there is a great journey still to be had.
Kai makes eye contact with you, and it kind of sends a shiver down your spine because you see that same endless event horizon in Kai's eyes, but there's a bit of understanding of what you saw as Kai kind of tilts their head and just kind of smiles at you a little bit and then makes like grabby hands towards you again, like they want ups.
Oh, he wants uppies. You want to give him uppies, Aster?
I'm going to reach out with an arm, and instead of putting him on my shoulders, I'm gonna let him, like, cling, like, koala-like to my arm as an attempt of a compromise.
Kai floats over and grabs onto the arm and then starts swinging on it a bit as you all start moving Kai back. They find that compromise acceptable.
God, the rip. Goddamn.
For the rest of, I guess, the time, I would like to take Kai, and boy, we're gonna have some bonding time. I'm gonna take him here, and he's gonna hold the light for me, while I attempt to fix the, Alwyn's, shot-up bike. Or, we recovered one of them, right? We had the 3 bikes and the 1 cruiser?
Well, we covered the cruiser. The bike was destroyed.
But we had... Okay,
the bike got
that's right.
shot in the tail by like a cannon or something, so it was pretty thoroughly wrecked, but you do have the cruiser still, and the cruiser's fine.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Cruiser's fine, okay.
I'll put the cruiser back in the hold there. There is some damage to it as it was fired on by a lot of marshals before it escapes.
Yeah, I guess either way, we'll try to do any, at least, like, obviously we don't care about, like, blaster, like, fire, like, that's just, what's the thing, but, that's just, like, what am I thinking? Not
You want the windows, not the scorch fire.
Yeah, not like scorch marks or anything that's just visual, aesthetic, Jesus, but like actual damage. So, if need be, I'm literally gonna try to cast light on him.
Ooh.
It's technically a 16 death save.
Sorry, God, you both need to stop calling Kai-he, because I've been so good about calling them they. They'll fail as... actually, give me a persuasion check as you're casting this.
I will try.
I believe in you.
God, stop pulling off the desk. Gee, that's a nat 1.
Okay, they draw back pretty quickly, seeing you trying to like cast a magic and look pretty apprehensive at it. They look like they actually might be about to banish you again.
I'll sigh and then just cast light on, like, I assume I'm opening like a panel or something, and I'll just cast light on the panel itself. So the panel.
Sure. That will interest Kai, though, and they'll kind of move closer and look at it as you get to work. The light cantrip will fade, and almost immediately after it fades, Kai is going to cast the daylight spell. And one of their moons is going to start shining like an actual sun beside you. And they just kind of take the moon in their hands. It looks like it was the bone white moon, but it's now completely incandescent and almost like a little fireball. It's so bright in Kai's hands as they just kind of hold in their hands and like take a second just looking at it back and forth for a bit.
I too can do that. And fuck it, I'm also gonna cast my daylight spell.
Okay. No roll needed. There's a pretty special little moment in the hangar as Kai is holding one of their moons, just kind of sitting on their knees beside you and just looking at the light. And then you break one of your little tomes. Tell me how daylight presents itself for you, Aster, as I don't think you've cast it before.
I cast it on the island to attract.
Oh, that's right, you did. It's that like a little fireball in the sky, like the miniature sun, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you
Kinda shaped like a firework, I guess, would be the best description.
Sure, but yeah, without having to do the range, I mean, you can pick a range of your hands if you want. So you kind of copy the same thing Kai does, as you both are kind of kneeling there in the hangar, and there's a insanely bright light behind the cruiser, kind of dimming the rest of the hangar in comparison. But you both just kind of look at those lights, and Kai smiles really big at you and just kind of laughs a bit as they, like, their light kind of floats out of their hands and they make it play around in the sky a little bit.
And you also bring a sun into your orbit to sustain your planets.
Kai looks at you, and there's Kai's moons, like, are omnipresent but are never in the way. Like, they always are where Kai wants them to be. So as you ask that, Kai looks up at the bone moon that is currently lit up like a sun, and the rest of their moons kind of come out of Kai's shadow and start in a low orbit around their head with that central glowing sphere in the middle of it. And they just kind of watch this like miniature universe, this like mobile of a system that they have made above their head for a moment. And they look back at you with just kind of... Kai is incredibly childlike, like the majority of the time, but there are occasions where they will make eye contact with you, and there's... it's hard to forget that they are a planet-sized dragon in those moments, as there is a much, much deeper and older understanding behind those eyes than you can comprehend.
Aster's kind of frowning with some furrowed brows, and he's just, I guess, mutters, oh, I will need to ponder on this revelation.
Sure.
And then he will, I guess, get back to trying to fix the carrier.
Yeah, Kai doesn't cause much trouble after that, mostly just watching you pretty intently, seeing how you're working with tools and stuff, as they keep that daylight spell up for you. All right, that is what Aster is up to on the boat. Anyone else?
I would like to take a short rest.
Sure.
I would also like to do things during the short rest.
Such as?
I imagine after Ash gets back, he's still, like, wearing this, like, dark soot black tank top. And he, after everyone starts to split up, he looks at the captain and says, I'm going to need to speak with you, but first I need to properly dress.
She nods. She's still on the wheel until Alwyn gets himself sorted. So she just, yeah, no worries. Go get set up. I'll be here.
Ash will, he's going to corral 3 people. He's gonna find his usual Rog, Boy, and Dimitri, and he's going to bring them to his room.
Sure. Yeah, your crew gets together.
He's going to get them together, and he's going to the best of his abilities, lock the door with the four of them in there and kind of sequester it off for some privacy. As he pushes in some buttons on a console, he will look to the small group there and he'll say, "Boys, my lads, my darling little boys."
Boy kind of shudders for a second.
For many months now, nearly a year, we have been traveling. For us two, it has been over a year, as he looks to Rog. But there are some things that I have tolerated as first mate, some graces given that have run out. A well that has been aptly fed with a steady stream of mercy has now become beyond dry. Boys, I dare say there is something of a traitor amongst us. Not in this room. No, you are all safe as long as you continue to listen to me. But there is one person on this ship who cannot be abided by any longer. It will come to no surprise for any of you, I am sure, to take a guess at who this person is, but I will not name them now.
Dimitri and Boy kind of share a look, but Rog could have no idea who it could be anyone to Big Guy, as he just kind of like furrows his brow and thinks for a long second, like, is it me?
Ash will put a very calm and very soothing hand on Rog's shoulder. No. No one in this room. Everyone in this room is loyal to the captain. They are loyal to me. But we will have to do something about this growing cancer, this parasite who continues to live amongst us. I had been hoping that the rot had been burned away given recent events, but it seems that it is down to its core of this individual, and they can no longer be left alive. However, they are so ingratiated, and their position is that of importance, that this cannot merely be an execution. This is something we must plan for, something we must do, like a surgeon, with precision and without any trace left behind. Is this understood?
Rog just nods their head a lot. Dimitri says, Ash, mate, you're being a bit vague. It's hard to...
Ash will slam his fist on the ground, or not on the ground, on the table. Like a surgeon, like a doctor, we must be very, very particular.
Dimitri puts their hands up really quick. He's like, no, I get the metaphor. I get but what are you wanting us to do exactly?
I want your ears. I want your eyes. I want your mouths. What I need is that for when the time comes, the crew must be accepting for when an inevitable accident comes. When perhaps even a clear traitorous act occurs. Then it will be clear. There will be no hesitation and no gray area for the rest of the crew. They will know, and they will agree that that was the best course of action.
The three of them kind of nod and say, yeah, all right. Sure. And Boy kind of gulps real big, but shakes his head too. And then Raw goes, yeah, let's kill him.
In good time, Brog. In good time. For now, please do tell the rest of the crew how heroic it was of me to save Alwyn, and how, when given the chance, our dear doctor had abandoned him. In your own ways, of course, but I saw it with my own eyes.
The three boys nod and turn to leave. Rog looks down at Boy and says, who are we killing again? And Boy just kind of like passes, just don't worry about it.
Oh, and lads, the better you do, the more magic I will give you. As a little treat.
Rog looks excited, and Dimitri seems to be in a darker place now as he kind of smiles, but it has like that nasty kind of sticky like inclination to it, where it just is like he has been promised a tool that he can use to do some dirty work or something like that. He looks like just so uncomfortably happy about the idea of more magic. But they kind of nod and head out to start carrying out your orders.
Excellent. Now it is time for nappies.
Yeah, this entire time Ash has been in asbestos PJs with bunny slippers on, laying in his bed with like his covers half up. Now, Rog, tuck me in.
Now, tuck me in and tell me an orcish bedtime story.
The blood leaves were flowing. All right, so that is what Ash is doing for now, getting a short rest in as you all are traveling. Aster and Kai are doing repairs on the lander, trying to get it back into ship shape before you all get to PAX. Dee Dee is working with the Broderick brothers right now. That leaves us Alwyn and Hank. What are you two up to?
Go ahead, Hank.
Oh, I was going to track you down and just like personally, like I actually apologize for what happened in the jail cell.
Hank. All right. I mean, I was heated at the moment. I mean, I think anybody would with a couple fresh, slug marks in their ass. I can laugh about it now. Just just give me a heads up next time I tap on the shoulder, slap on the ass, a little whistle in the ear. Say, hey, Alwyn, this way, exit stage left.
Yeah, but it's not the first time that I haven't sought things out. But so if there's anything that you need me to do to at least make it up, because I did fuck you over there once. Like, don't hesitate. Like, I am truly sorry.
Well, you know, I enjoy a good adventure at the end of the day, and then I got to see a really funny look on Ash's face in between whatever form of the marshal he was in, and then that pissed off, half scared look he had in his own face when he was bopping up on top of the hood of the shuttle. So, I mean, don't tell him I said that, because he already like scorched my leg, and I got like a handprint down there on my calf. That doesn't feel good. But you know,
Yeah, I should do the right thing and find some way to apologize to Ash.
well, see, he's already a bit of a grumpy goose, so you may just want to give him a little bit of space at the moment, and I don't know, offer him like a pile of leaves, or maybe like a tree bark, or like some twigs. I don't know what elementals eat or what they find as a delicacy. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Maybe you can just have Dee Dee make him like a big bowl of grease, that magic grease. He seemed to slurp that up pretty good.
Yeah, it may be worth me asking the captain for her opinion, just because I did run him over, and that I feel like that was,
I
like
know,
you said,
but
it was a little funny, but
it was a
I
little.
should
I mean,
apologize.
he's not dead and he's not splattered. Okay, we can laugh this off. You can always do that when you can walk away from the fight. All right. I mean, yeah, I was pissed at the moment. Anybody would be, but you know, afterwards, ain't no sense in staying mad. You know. But yeah, maybe ask the captain. You know, maybe you can find him a nice crystal with like a weak little wind elemental there he can like suckle off of. I don't know.
That's fair. All right. Again, if you need anything, don't feel free to just tell me. I do truly owe you at least several favors.
I'm go. Okay, listen here. All right. If you can't yell and be pissed off with crewmates, then they ain't crewmates worth having. All right.
I guess that is true.
We're gonna be through things like thick and thin, like. All right. So yeah, you're gonna fuck up. I'm gonna fuck up. That's why we yell at each other so we can get better. All right.
Mhm.
Except for the captain. I don't really yell at her because
I feel like she would shoot me.
yeah, and yeah, she does get a little scary. Don't tell her I said that. All right.
I heard
So
jack shit.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'm gonna go and see if we've got some landing cables already here that maybe we can kind of get ready, and whatever other, like, I don't know, if we can like find some way to get like at make some attachment cabling points to the outside of the ship to hold and haul some shit behind us once we get it off planet.
That's fair. If you need anyone to lug stuff around, feel free to yell.
Yell what? Just like yell for you? Yell for
Yeah.
you know
Yell for Hank.
your assistant? Because I mean,
Venna has the arms of a twig. She would probably die.
yeah. All right, it was a joke. All right, okay. We gotta work on your sense of humor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want a hug? Do you need like a kiss on the cheek? I mean, you still smell like burnt hair. I'll have you know.
Listen, this beard is genuinely a horrible loss for me.
You don't have a beard. You look like somebody attacked your face with a hatchet blade and then like seared the other half off.
I'm shocked that they did not figure out that this was a hack job.
Do you not know we are? We are in the ass end of like an arm belt of the galaxy. Okay.
Yeah, but they should at least kind of add 2 and 2 together and say, hey, this person could have possibly burnt their face off.
Yeah, well, they were dumb. And also, they were too busy looking at Ash's ass. All right?
That's fair. It was Would it be polite to say it was a nice ass, or?
Oh no!
You know what-
Like
you know what, I'm going.
female elf Ash has a great rack and a nice tight ass. I don't know where they got the inspiration from, but kudos to them.
Well, this has been a conversation. I'm going to go talk to the captain now. I'll see you later.
All right, make
Yeah,
sure
I
you
asked
tell
what
her
you two
about
are
Elf
into.
Ash.
what? I'm going to step in as God here and say that Kai teleports one of you all away.
We're just guys having dude talk. All right,
This is what it's all about. Just guys being
This is-
bros.
Guys being dudes.
Yeah.
guys being dudes.
All right. So we will split the two of you off. We'll go to Alwyn first, who's looking for some stuff to make tow cables out of and stuff, I believe, right?
Yeah, because even though we don't have like a lot on the board right now, we should still have some
Sure.
that are just
Give me an investigation check.
oh goody with the new dice.
See what you can dig up.
Where's the 20? There's 20. Rip fire. 17 plus. What'd you say? Investigation.
Yep.
That's gonna be a 19 or a 30-20.
Okay. 19's not bad. You don't find anything that would really work as a tow cable that you're looking for, but you do find what looks like some inflatables or like these kind of like solar sail, like these kind of things that can extend out from behind the boat that they could have been dragged on a line. So essentially like a parasail type thing for like planet side recreation. But that has some cables with it. So you are able to unhook that and you're able to get about 300 feet worth of pretty heavy duty. I mean, it's a luxury yacht, so it's decently heavy duty steel cable.
Nice.
So you gather that up and get that ready. We'll say that you can have that ready for Dee Dee after they're done with checking the map with the Broderick brothers. But were you wanting to do anything else, or just get that set up and ready for Dee Dee? Were you want to do anything with it?
Gonna get it kind of ready. I'm assuming that if it looks like this was used for recreation off the back of the ship, then there should already be some attachment points.
Correct, yeah. Outside of the hangar, there are some
Alright.
hard points that you could tack onto.
The only other thing he'd be doing is just prestidigitating it himself to get clean and actually finish getting dressed.
Sure, the outfit's not complete until you finally sling that old guitar over your shoulder, but you are fully dressed again.
It took me a lot longer than I wanted, but all right, we're decked back out again.
All right. And then, Hank, you go off to see the captain, who is still currently steering the ship. So,
No. Hey, Captain. This is going to sound like a really weird question. What would you give someone a gift to say, sorry, I ran you over with a car?
she had looked over her shoulder when she saw you and gave a bit of a smirk and a nod of her head, and then she sighed and looked back out the window of the Soleil and says, Hank, did you run over someone with a car?
So Ash was in one of his
You
disguises.
ran over
and
Ash with a car?
He was dressed as a marshal and was in a group of marshals. I thought that he was trying to block the door with controls, and I saw that, I should stop them before they do that. And then I only found out after, when his face hit the windshield.
The captain sighs a bit, like she's tired, y'all. The captain did not expect this first system to be the clusterfuck it has ended up being, and she's just trying to get you all out of there as quickly as possible. And she rubs her temple for a minute and says, all right, I know my first mate pretty well, Doctor. He might try to kill you. So whatever you get, it's gonna be a biggin. Ash doesn't trust very easily, Doctor, and boy,
Yeah,
he's
I ran into the
reported
bar,
he's
yeah.
reported more than just a couple incidents about that from what I've heard. So I think you and him need to either have a reconciliation or a duel, and either way, it's the two of your business. I am your captain, and I'm going to keep the safety of the crew above everything else. But if this is an issue between the two of you, you both are grown-ass men. Deal with it.
That's fair, Captain. Sorry for causing all the issues. I'll be in my room if you need me.
Yep, you're fine, Doctor. Just
Also,
try to, if you can settle it without a duel, that's the preference, because that poor girl, God bless her, but I don't think she could handle being the Doctor by herself. So, just try. Talk to Ash.
I'll try everything in my power.
Make sure someone that likes you is nearby.
Also, I feel like I should warn you. Somehow, Kai learned banishment and is more than willing to use it on the crew members. Aster discovered that.
Yeah, didn't he learn banishment when he brought a giant snake thing on board?
Yes, but he's now willing to use it on crew members if they annoy them.
Well, that's concerning.
Yeah, I did at least convince them to bring Aster back, but last I saw they were in the deck doing something and they didn't hate each other.
She kind of frowns and says, would you understand languages or comprehend languages or speak with animal when trying to talk to a child?
Normally I would say comprehend languages, but it is a giant space dragon. I could try and get started on like a...
She shakes her head.
It's
hard to remember that sometimes, honestly. Like, they've only been with us for about 2 weeks now, but...
I guess I could try and start teaching Kai Common.
That's an option. Let me think about that. I actually heard Nadi was giving out classes in Lumerian, so some of the crew members could understand her language, but they were set up by that dragon, right? Maybe there's some commonality there. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, go get some rest. We might have a bit of a rough time getting out of here, so everyone needs to be ready to go.
Well, I will go and crash. I'll see you later, Captain. And I'm gonna fucking duck down and get a short rest.
Sure. All right. Dee Dee, you work with the Broderick brothers, who do understand that planet incredibly well. The ship got several good images of it as it was in orbit around it, so you have a fairly good map of where you should land and everything. Give me a... let's do an investigation check for how this kind of part-finding mission goes between you and these two.
Hush, puppy. Oh, that's an 11.
11? Okay. The Broderick Brothers will give you the help action with that. You can roll that, Panic.
Pog. Sorry about the dog. Oh, nat 20 for a 24.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
They not only can help mark out where some of the larger, more intact wrecks are, but know the planet well enough to be able to tell you specific models of ships, so you can look at what you're going to be going for. Between those two pieces of information, I'm going to say that you could just use the lander with some tow cables and stuff like that to pull the wings and stuff you need. The ship could make a descent into like lower orbit, and you could get a lot more stuff though. That's a really good roll, and you have a lot of places where you feel like you could get really stocked up with all you need, but the ship would need to like make orbits that, or it would need to make landfalls that way you could load it all on there.
Yeah, Dee Dee kind of looked down at the map and nodded while the brothers were talking and circled and highlighted a few places with some notes. Yeah, I see. So, if we end up needing to, we could take the ship down and land by this wreck here. You said the wreck of the Persephone, but you know that was those MD-400s are cruisers. They would have a cruise liner. They would have good kitchens, but the wing modules on the X-11 over here would be much better for what I'm looking for. You think I could get that out with the little one? I wouldn't need to bring in the whole ship for that.
Dee Dee, I'll tell you, with a nat 20 on that roll, effectively what I'm giving you here is a blank check for parts for ships.
Oh, okay.
You can go down and get the things that you've mentioned before, like the you can get specifically things to change the outside of the ship, like cosmetic changes. You can get the stuff to make a kitchen, and one other, I think you were wanting some like bigger guns or something for the ship. But I'll also say that if you roll well enough while you're there, I'll include 3 later undetermined items that you picked up from here. It is just a blank check for, I picked up these items that might be useful, and you can tell me what those were later. But that's assuming everything goes really okay. You have a plan to get effectively like 6 big upgrades for the ships, 3 of which you don't have to tell me right now. But
nice, awesome.
That's if you all can make the landing and find all the things and get it all on the ship in a timely order. But
if we bring
yeah, but that's what's at stake. If this goes off perfectly, you make it to PAX, you load everything up, you find everything, you get cut, you get loaded, you get on the ship, you all get out. That's what you can get. If things go wrong or if things get held up, that might be less.
Okay. Yeah, after having that conversation with them, Dee Dee would compile her 2 plans together and get them ready to go present to Crow to see which one she'd ultimately want to do. Dee Dee would know which one she wanted to do, but I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to what the captain is more comfortable with doing.
Sure. You present it to Crow. You use a bunch of big language and jargon that you're pretty sure will go over the captain's head, but you make it sound really enticing with it. And the captain goes, shit. Yeah. Hey, Broderick's, how much would it cost to hire you all for a bit? And the 2 brothers shake their heads and like look between each other. Honestly, love, we're probably going to be wanted murderers if we stay in this system much longer. We were kind of hoping to ask if we could tag along with you lot anyway. We'll leave after the system, of course, but would be nice to have someone with some offensive capabilities at our back, if you get my drift. And the captain kind of nods for a second and says, yeah, we might be able to work something out like that. Let's say you do some hauling for us, and we'll help you get out of here. And the 2 brothers nod enthusiastically, like, yeah, we'll radio to our station and have the ship meet us. We can just keep going on to PAX if you want. And the captain nods and looks back at you, Dee Dee, and says, I want all of that stuff, please. Do what you need to do to make that happen.
Dee Dee nodded. Aye, Captain. I'll get it done.
The Broderick brothers go with you to describe what their ship is capable of carrying. They actually, since they are a junker, like salvage ship, a lot of their parts and components, as they describe it to you, you've worked on so many things so similar to what they've designed and stuff like that. But they have a lot of what you're used to in that regard, in that they essentially have a junkyard vessel that's used to hauling equipment. So with the Broderick brothers ship, you will be able to make the stop without the Soleil having to make full orbit, but it is slower than the Soleil as well. So it just keeps the main ship above the surface.
I was just about to ask, is there anything that Dee Dee can do after seeing their ship to help them be a little faster? And maybe we could...
Not from the Soleil, but you all could take like a bike or the cruiser and meet that other ship whenever it meets you all on the other side of the asteroid field. and you could board their ship and probably help them out for sure.
Okay.
Anyone that would be making planetfall to gather this stuff would need to probably go ahead and be on the Broderick's ship. So if you want to start also selecting the crew to make that happen, but you and the Broderick's head down to the hold, and you see that Alwyn has found some tow cable, about 300 feet of heavy steel tow cable, also within your all's hold.
Dee Dee celebrated a little. That's perfect, Alwyn. Thank you. I'd ask you to go with us on the away team, but I don't know if you need to be here to have us ready for a quick getaway.
Well, I mean, the captain can be on this ship, but you still need somebody to pilot the shuttle.
Well, I mean, I can a little, but I would prefer to be overseeing everything else.
I can come pilot the little ship. I ain't too banged up.
She nodded. Awesome. Then, let's go look at the rest of the boys and see who we want to take with us.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you all take off from there. Who all are you all wanting to take?
I know last week we had kind of named off some people, but I must have forgot to say a question mark.
Oh yeah, that could make that, or that could help for. I mean, for sure, Jackson would be able to help as he's the apprentice carpenter under you, effectively.
Yeah, he's my main stooge.
Yeah, main stooge, absolutely. Bach and Gorebearer were the two scouts that also would be able to go. The three that were on the Marshal ship did use some spell slots and were a bit beat up, so they might not be up to it in case there's trouble on the planet. You're not sure, because you all don't know if there's a Marshal presence around PAX right now, so you're going to try to get in and get out as quickly as you can, but
Which of the other officers would like to go?
Aster could be convinced.
yeah, I was about to say Aster's the only other one that's like fully like ready and not injured at all.
Minus the cast of daylight on the off chance we need
A flare.
daylight spell.
Then, yeah, Dee Dee would, after getting those other crew members together, Dee Dee would go to Aster and say, "Hoy, preacher man, do you feel like stretching your legs a little more?"
If it will get me away from this kid for the time, I would gladly take the opportunity.
Dee Dee kind of looked from him and then towards Kai. Why? What's wrong? What'd they do?
Existed, in a sense. Its presence is only a complication.
Dee Dee kind of scrunched her nose. He's just a baby. He didn't decide to be here. We brought him here.
In a way, he did. He is the one who teleported us
But
all
we
the
are
way
the
here.
ones who hatched him.
I don't know if what we did hatched him.
Fine, Kai's a he, whatever.
God damn it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fuck. Ah.
We're all bounce it all out. I'll start calling you.
But regardless, when we got in space, it decided to attach to us, and thus was our choice removed.
Dee Dee shrugged. Well, the way I see it, a lot of us haven't had a whole lot of choice lately. So, we're all along for the ride. But yes, it'll give you a few hours break. Kai will be fine with the captain for a while.
I wish her more luck than I.
Dee Dee kind of smiled to herself, thinking about the connection that, the captain and herself kind of had with Kai, and she laughed and was like, I don't think we'll need it as much as the rest of you. Anyway, just be ready to go when we get close, yeah?
I will be here.
And then Dee Dee nodded to him and left the room to go get the rest of her away team together. Make sure they knew what to expect and what they were looking for.
All right. Yeah, you get a team. How many people do you think overall? So it's you and Aster, and then Jackson, Gorebear, Bach. Anyone else?
Jackson, Gorebear, Bach, Aster. Hank and Ash are indisposed, I'm guessing.
Hank is known to the marshal,
Yeah.
so like least.
Yeah, can we ask Ash if we can take Rog?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I know he's a big dude and takes up some space, but he could also lift a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
orc powers.
I'll say that all of the short rests are done. So if everyone wants to be up, we'll actually skip forward a little bit as you're putting together this crew. Sorry to cut you off, Ash, but we'll say that that you all have just passed into the meteorite field. The Broderick brothers have contacted their ship, and you all are heading on the other side. So about 2 hours left until you're going to be at PAX. So, sorry, go ahead. You can meet up with Ash now.
Yeah, Ash has been spending all of his time since he got back. You find him in his room, and he's like experimenting with different clothings, and trying on the different like strange and esoteric clothings that have been available on the ship. And you just see him going, yes, how dainty, but it's not quite my style.
Dee Dee kind of scrunched her nose as she walked in. Don't you just set everything you wear on fire?
For the most part, yes. That's why I had that very specific hat and jacket. It was a sort of present that the captain had given me when I had first become her first mate. The hat was lost, unfortunately. And Hank still has my jacket.
That's weird and a little unfortunate about your hat. Ash, I need to borrow one of your favorites.
Which one?
The big guy, Rog.
Oh, yes. You know, you couldn't have asked for a better... I assume you're taking him to do some heavy lifting.
That's right.
Then you could not have asked for a better lifter. For what better thing for him to do than to be able to climb like a spider?
I just need him to carry things and possibly, and she kind of looked down at the ground, a little ashamed, and said, and possibly let me stand on him to see things better.
And precisely my point. Rog does not know his way around a junkyard, nor is he a particularly dexterous climber. But he has learned from me, and the ability to climb like a spider is quite advantageous in moving around. You may have him for as long as you need.
Perfect. Just make sure he's ready by the time that we hit orbit and we're ready to go.
Rog is always ready. Just tell him. In fact, you know what? I'm going to tell him he's going on an adventure where he's going to prove that he's the strongest and goodest boy. That'll get him revved up.
From the other room, you hear, "Hooray!"
Rog, Rog, sweetie, you're going on an adventure to prove you're the strongest, goodest boy.
Rog, there's a silence and then a crashing sound as he runs through the hallways and slams his way into the room. I am!
You are.
Yes!
You're going to prove it to our 2 new friends that we brought along board. You want to prove yourself in front of our new guests, don't you?
I do! And he runs over to Maddox, the really tall, like 6'5" muscle-bound one, and headbutts him in the head immediately.
That a boy, Rog. That's a boy. See, Dee Dee? He's ready.
Dee Dee kind of was like staring with her eyes open a little wide and her mouth open a little. Right. Perfect. Anyway, we'll see you at the hangar.
See you soon.
All right.
Dee Dee kind of left with this like weird vibe from the room.
That's why they
The
made
whole
me.
energy in that room feels weird, man.
That's why they made me the first mate.
Sure. You get your crew together, and Aster and Dee Dee, along with Jackson, Bach, Gorebear, and Rog, all get on the lander with the Maddox brothers and head over to their ship for the last part of the journey. So that way Dee Dee can get started on trying to do some upgrades to it, some last minute upgrades before you all make your way to PAX. You all have about 2 hours left until you make your way to PAX. We can skip forward some of that if no one else had anything they were wanting to do during that time. But right now is a bit of downtime while Dee Dee and whoever, and Lash would probably help Dee Dee out, along with the Maddox brothers who built all this, so they understand what they're doing pretty well. But
The only thing Hank would be really interested in is just making sure that Kai isn't causing too much of an issue.
yeah, as Aster leaves, are you wanting to take Kai from him?
Sure. I'll keep an eye on him for you guys. To try and teach him some common. Maybe at least get him to repeat Kai.
Okay. Ash, Alwyn, either of you doing anything during that last 2 hours, or just getting rested and relaxing a bit? Or do you want to take over the helm from the captain, Alwyn?
Yeah, Alan will take over the helm. He'll kind of kick back and, take a swig.
Ash is just getting rested and trying on new clothes and disguises for later.
All right. If that's the case, Dee Dee, you get over to the Maddox Brothers ship. It is a junker, but honestly, it just kind of has that smell of home, like a bit more like of that grease and elbow sweat, or that elbow grease and toil that went into putting it. There's like bolts in places where like sheets of metal have been fitted onto the hull in different places, and the ships are using different colored elemental cores with the throttling like adjusted so that way they are firing in sync together and everything. It's just a big mishmash of things in here. But the Maddox brothers friends that had been around previously, there is only one currently, as the other two seems to have left ship. This is Natalie, the girl that had been really interested in Ural's lander. The other two that had been with her, she explains, were going to ground. They were trying to make their way over to the city of Kira, just to try to hide after they had heard about the Marshall ship getting destroyed. So she had brought the Maddox brothers ship out to meet, and also is wanting to skip. So she's coming along, but what are you going to do to try to fix this ship up a bit, Dee Dee?
So I mean, walking in the room at first, I imagine Dee Dee walks up to like a valve that she sees kind of loose and just walks up to it and just just tightens it a little bit, and then walking around the engines, she was like, "Well, you're basically flying a tank. This thing is solid and it can haul a lot, but she is slow. Could I see your thrust boosters and everything?"
Yeah, that's actually the problem, love. As the Anders, the kind of small, skinny Broderick brother, tries to lead, Maddox pushes him out of the way, and the towering one kind of takes over and goes, "Yeah, so with this engine here," and he kind of leads you back to one of the, "Our main problem isn't the amount of thrust we're getting from everything else. This one is a real son of a bitch," and he kind of points up to at an air elemental engine that's kind of that light blue color. The other ones seem to be fire elemental, and he goes, "We've not got a good replacement for it yet, but we can't have near the output we should be able to have as long as this one's the weak link in the chain."
Dee Dee kind of looked at the elemental for a little while. "Have you tried a spore infusion with it yet?"
Fuck's a spore.
Oh god. So I take it we don't have a whole lot of time to go to the history of Lumar with them.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the planet was only, like, operational for, like, a year and a half. Like, it took them a while to get things set up and start exporting off. But even then, like, there just wasn't that much that got off the planet during that time. Like, you all have the main source of spores in the astral ocean now. And it's a very, very rare resource that would have only been seen on, like, specific company-owned planets for, like, testing and stuff. Like, they were still in very preliminary stages of, like, extracting what they wanted from Lumar.
So, basically what I'm wanting to do, because Dee Dee always has this, like, little satchels with various spores in it, right?
Sure.
Dee Dee is basically wanting to take a little portion of Zephyr spores and, you know, I said infuse, use whatever word have you, feed it to this elemental and bring its power back is what she's wanting to do.
Easier said than done. You understand the mechanics of, like, magically how that should work, but this is an elemental that's infused inside of a crystal. So getting the interaction between the spore and the elemental might be difficult, but I'm not saying it's something impossible, just you've never tried it before. So you can, like, do a demonstration just dropping a bit of water on your hand and, like, showing them how it bursts, but to get it infused into the engine would probably take the majority of your time with tinkering.
I feel like if that's the main problem, that's okay, though.
If that's up to you, yeah, you can absolutely try to spend some time and see if you can figure something out for this.
Yeah, Dee Dee's gonna pull out one of her little vials and kind of hold it up, and she was like, These little crystals here are infused with, not really elemental energy, but close. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to bring some life back into that elemental and that crystal using these. But it's probably going to take me some time. You shouldn't need to shut everything down, though. We can keep moving while I do this.
Maddox nods to Anders, who goes off and starts making the adjustment to the other engines to keep you all at a steady pace with the Soleil. As Maddox stays to help out, it seems like he is far more the technology inclined of the two brothers, as he pretty expertly, despite his size, is very dainty with his fingers and helps you disassemble this engine incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I imagine Dee Dee's got these, like, thick, leather question mark gloves on, and she kind of opens the engine and pulls the crystal out that has the elemental infused in it, and, she pulls her goggles down and she's kind of studying it and everything. Yeah, this one, not doing too great, is it?
The problem with it's just a tiny little, I mean, it's an old engine. Look at it, and he points out, like, this is a, like, first or second generation, like, elemental engine. It is incredibly old, and it does not seem like this is the original elemental engine that like the battery that was in this thing by any measure, but it is a fairly weak little battery as well. So he's like, just the engine. I've been wanting to replace it for forever. We just never got the right part in.
Dee Dee's kind of, kept her eyes on the crystal, mumbling to herself, "Don't I know the struggle?"
All right. You're going to roll this with advantage since Maddox will give you the help action. Give me a Tinker's Tool set. So again, this is your proficiency bonus, which is +3, plus your intelligence bonus, so +4, so a +7 overall, and you're going to roll a d20 with advantage.
Okay. So that first one would have given me a dirty 20 then. And the second one is a 23.
23, okay.
+7's big.
Right. 23. So, the compromise that has to be made here. A 23, you can absolutely make this work for a short term. Essentially, what you kind of figure out you would have to do is crack a part of the crystal encasing the elemental, which eventually will make it expand out its energy. The crystal will fracture the rest of the way. The elemental will disappear back into its home plane. But it would give you like a 2 to 3 hour window where you could have spores injected into it and supercharge, because those spores are directly linked to that elemental plane. So you could plug those in and essentially supercharge it, making this engine perform a lot hotter and with a lot more thrust to match its counterparts and stuff. It's just going to burn out the engine. And Maddox says, I mean, if we're going shopping anyway, we can pick up an engine to replace it while we're there. Well, we've just never been able to afford one. But if we're stealing a bunch of shit, let's.
She kind of chuckled and nodded, and I imagine there's like a little hammer and a little chisel, and you can kind of hear tink, tink, tink while they're talking. And she's like, true, and this really is just a band-aid, but if you really crank it up to 11 when we absolutely need to, it would leave you sitting dead in the water, but it would definitely get you away. Long enough to put the new engine in, I believe.
Well, how about this? Let's get it ready, because we don't need the extra thrust until we're trying to take off with all the stuff, right? Let's just get it ready. We'll inject whenever we're trying to leave the planet. Use that extra boost to follow you all as we try to get past the net, and then we'll fix whatever problems come up whenever they come up later.
She smiled a little bigger. Nice to have someone like on the same mental wave as her. Like, yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking.
All right. Well, let's get this patched up and get that injector ready, then. And he lifts the entire engine with one hand and fits it back into place as he starts screwing in one of the bolts.
Dee looks down in more height shame. Just, God, I hate it sometimes.
What are those characters from Mad Max Thunderdome with the midget riding on the really big guy's back?
Oh God, I hate it. Stop.
Is it Master Blaster?
Something like that, yeah. You're gonna make me look it up now, yeah.
Master Blaster.
Lamau.
It's gonna be just Master Blaster.
You literally type in Master Blaster GIF and it's the first thing that comes up.
I'm so proud of myself for remembering Master Blaster's name. All right, so over the next 2 hours, or that was during the 2 hours that you and Max were getting everything set up on the ship, and all of you start getting closer to Pax. As you get to within this area, the planet is taking up the majority of what the radar is reading at this point, but the captain is sitting up with you, Alwyn, and she leans forward, kind of watching the monitor of the planet, kind of zoomed in a bit, and she just mutters under her breath, shit, and throws up what she's seeing onto the main screen so you can see it too. On the far side of the planet, you can just make out the thrusters of a Marshal ship moving onto the night side of the planet.
That could be a problem, but you know, Captain, you do have the lunchbox signal tosser thing.
Yeah, it's still behind us.
Yeah. How about you you throw out a false flag for him to chase?
She kind of like chews on her lip for a minute, think about that, and says, as long as we stay on the opposite side of the planet, they won't pick us up. Do you think you can keep us opposite of them?
I mean, I'll try, but it wouldn't hurt maybe to have them chasing, shadows out in the asteroid field.
She nods and says, yeah, maybe when we get closer, we'll send them running, and that'll give us a bit of an opening.
Alrighty.
Just, try to keep, and the engines have kind of and all you could really see was the glow of like 3 or 4 little specks on the other side of the planet, like a bit further out than they should have been. So the planet was blocking that ship from appearing like on your all's radar or anything effectively. So as long as you stay on the opposite side, they won't know you're there either, as it was just the tail of the ship kind of disappearing into the night side for now. So you adjust your course and relay that over to the project ship, kind of trying to angle yourself so you're keeping that planet between you all and the Marshal ship for now.
Indeed.
All right. Anyone have any last-minute things they're wanting to get done before you make a orbit around Pax?
I don't believe so. I don't think there's anything I can do that's productive.
Guess I could just check that all the bikes are fueled and ready to go in case we absolutely have to use them.
Okay. Alwyn, you're piloting the ship. Aster, anything you're doing over on the Broderick ship with the other crew members of the Soleil or anyone?
I guess not really. I would say like trying to, instead of just wing it, try to get a actual like plan of like who's going where to grab what. So we're more efficient than just randomly, but just to make sure like everyone quote unquote knows what they're supposed to be doing, and there's no like running around without a head on type shit.
Sure. So I think the way that we're going to do this is Dee Dee has identified 6 points on the surface of Pax with shipwrecks that she is very confident will have what you all need in them. Each of those 6 checkpoints you get to, you will be making a roll for what you find and what you're able to get loaded onto the ship. It's going to be either like a strength or an investigation or a perception or arcana, depending on what you're wanting to find and how quickly it moves and all that stuff. You can use spell slots to aid you all with that, either any way you want, if you can come up with a reason or anything. The main clock you're going to be running up against is the Marshal ship is going to be circling the planet. And if the Broderick Brothers ship is located by them, immediate red flag, they know you all are there, they start coming. The captain and them are going to try to lure them off and everything, so you all will have a time window to try to get this done. But the more failures you have, the longer it's going to take. You don't have to leave one of those 6 points upon a failure. You can retry it. It just adds an additional 30 minutes to each of these stops. Make sense?
Yeah.
Boy.
Before we land, would you all like to go over with Dee Dee what we're looking for?
Yeah, this can be an open communication thing. The captain can bring everyone up to the bridge as like the final approach is starting to be made, and you can go over exactly what you all are looking for.
Yeah, and Dee Dee would have some kind of rough images that she found on the screen, and she was like, "All right, lads. There are 3 very important essential things we need for the ship. These things are a must. They are not optional. The biggest things is we need our wing augments. I understand these seem trivial to some, but they are our biggest identifier on the ship. Uh, Wingspan and detail and everything is one of the first thing they look for in the schematic, so this is a must. The other thing, we need a galley. We can't keep surviving on junk food. We're all going to get fat and diabetic, and we don't have the supplies for that, so let's just get a kitchen. The last thing we need is the captain specially requested we not have these, where we do something about these little pea shooters we have on the ship. There are several locations where battleships have been junked, and there are several good cannons that should still be attached to them, and this is what they look like. Now these other things, these are optional, but I'm really hoping that we have them. The first thing is just extra supplies, extra scrap, things you can carry, things you think I might need. Have you ever thought about anything you wanted me to make you? You know, if you see things that can contribute to that, please just grab them, put them in your pocket, your sack, whatever you can carry. The next thing is, I would really like us to have an Arcana workbench. This will really help me speed things along when I make you these things. And if I can adapt it to also work with ballistics, I can make us more ammunition. The last thing that I would really like us to have is an extra shield generator. This thing was meant to be taken out and driven around and not really meant for a whole lot of combat, just defense. So we really need something that we're not flying around in tissue paper, and something that is sturdy. And these are all what these components might look like. Savvy?
Yeah, there's a general nod from everyone, both aboard the Max ship and the captain and all the other officers, I'm assuming. The captain looks around to everyone to see if anyone else has any suggestions for things you should look for.
Dee Dee said, all right, and kind of handed out, these lists to people that she thought might be leading, like, if they split off into groups or whatever. And she's like, all right, good luck to all of us, and come back in one piece, please. Captain, anything else?
Nope. Sounds like we got a plan. Letting you all know that there was a marshal ship on the far side of the planet. We're going to use your crybaby and try to send a message to the governor when we get closer, try to draw them off. But just keep an eye out, just in case.
Did you call it a crybaby?
Cry, baby, cry.
It was funny.
That's what they call it in Firefly.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So I'm making a Firefly reference.
I got you, don't worry. Well, that's just great. Now we'll really have a fire under our ass.
Yeah, I'd say the faster the better, but get what we need before anything else, and we'll see about getting out of here safely. All right. With that, you all make your final approach towards Pax. The captain is going to give you a nod, Alwyn, as the Maddox ship starts to veer off and make their descent into Atmo as they start to make planetfall towards the first of the ships that they are going to try to get. At the same time, the captain is going to send a message through the relay. She'll just kind of shrug as she starts like opening up a channel to general comms. She's not going to send a video or anything. She's just going to be like, she'll look at you and shakes her head before she says, like, what the fuck we're just trying to make them mad, right?
Oh yeah, no. I'll throw some dirt in his eye. They
Yeah.
hate that. Just tell him he's got a small penis.
She opens up the channel and says, sorry, is this Davith? This is the doctor that you called, about your really tiny dick. No, we can't fix it. Yes, it's going to get smaller. Sorry about that, mate. Bye. And then just closes the comm. She's like, that should work, right?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure across all channels, a man like that with a little penis and everybody knowing about it, he's not gonna like it.
She just kind of laughs and sits back in the captain's chair as you imagine somewhere someone is getting very upset. But you all begin your kind of geosynchronous orbit around the planet, trying to stay close to where the map is for the Maddox brothers. And with that, you all make planetfall to the very first of the locations, a fairly big part of the graveyard. This is actually just a kind of a flat piece of land with like a big concrete series of bunkers with several different ships that have been like stripped of all of their like really important or really valuable stuff, but a lot of the shells are here. So this is where you would be able to get any cosmetic items for the ship first. So you all are in the Broderick Brothers ship, Dee Dee and Aster. You all make planetfall, and you're at this kind of ship graveyard. What are you all doing?
We didn't bring a bike or the bigger one.
You have the lander with you, yeah, because that's how you all, yeah. So you all could split the lander off and send it into one of the other locations. It just won't be able to carry as much stuff. It'd only be able to carry small items.
Well, I don't know as much about all the technical stuff, but Dee Dee can probably point me, and I can probably use the heavy muscles to try to find wings first, I guess.
Sure. You all have a few cutting torches, too, that the Broderick brothers have, so you can use those to shear off any components you need. But yeah, Dee Dee, what are you looking for?
Well, the way I kind of imagined it was the Broderick brothers pointed out several like bigger, quote unquote, better looking wrecks, like ones that weren't, totally trash. Just like, oh, this one's engine's blue, but its chassis is fine, right? So I imagine this first site, there are a couple of ships that are here that look fairly intact. So Dee Dee would, kind of quickly give them a once-over, and they'll be like, all right, these ones here, these ones are the right shape that we're looking for, that are going to distinguish us from our ship the best. And they should be light enough for us to get back.
All right. Everyone nods and sets out to look for these items. Both of you give me an investigation check.
Investigation.
16.
19.
All right. This was a fairly low DC for this first one, as you all have a pretty good location with a lot of options for this. You all are able to find a couple ships that fit what Dee Dee is looking for. Very similar material, similar like overall design that could be used to just molded or modified to fit your ship pretty easily. And you need to start taking it apart now. So everyone that is on the surface that has a cutting torch, you can either use a spell to try to like help this process along, or just use a cutting torch or use a strength check. Cutting torch lets you use a dexterity check instead of a strength check.
Well, Boris is a cutting torch, so let's do
that's true too.
Let's do a dex check instead. +2, so 14.
Aster.
I guess I am also cutting twitching. I was looking to see if there's anything I wanted to do here. I don't think not yet.
I have a -1 to strength, so I should probably not.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's an 8.
Okay, and then your crew will also roll, and that is a 9. This starts taking far longer than you all want it to. You make Planetfall and you start searching. Within 15 minutes of making Planetfall, you all have successfully found the ship you are wanting to cut up, but 30 minutes pass at this point, and you're about halfway through. Go ahead and give me another check.
Dirty 20!
A 9.
All right, and the crew got a dirty 20 as well.
Yay!
So yeah, as you all continue working and it closes on an hour, you finally get the wings and the parts of the hull carved off. You have the cruiser out that one of you, or that Bach is driving, that is working as like just to drag the parts back to the Broderick Brothers ship, where it is loaded into one of the nets. But you all successfully carve up that part of the ship, but it takes you the better part of an hour and a half before you are fully loaded and back on board the ship and making your way to the next location. So during that hour and a half, the Soleil has been keeping geosynchronous orbit around where the ship is and is planning on keeping just straight above it, so it's a quick pickup whenever they're done. But as you are keeping this slow orbit, staying low, trying to hug the planet as close as you can, give me a perception check, Alwyn. And I'll say you can do this with advantage because you're making it with the ship.
Ready? First roll's a 7. Fucking nat rolled back to a nat 20. Okay.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, because you are able, just right off a curve, you catch a spot of some like mirage of atmosphere or something. It's a very acrid and planet with a very toxic atmosphere, but there's just a reflection of light, and you see something moving in this like reflection of light in the atmosphere, and you see a Marshal ship that was coming from the other side of the planet making its way towards you all. It's not spotted you yet. You still have a pretty big distance in the rotation of the planet before they get to you, but they are moving around the planet with speed, trying to get to where the source of that radar was, or that message was.
Okay, yeah, Alwyn's gonna kind of motion onto the screen where the ship is towards the captain, and then start kind of pivoting the Soleil in the opposite direction on the orbit of the planet. So we kind of keep the planet in between us as much as possible.
Sure, you it causes a bit of like atmospheric friction on the Soleil as you like pivot it around really quickly, shutting off one of the engines and putting on some afterburners in the nose of it to kind of swing you all around as quickly as you can. But with that nat 20, you're able to have spotted it early enough that you can keep the planet, but you know that you are now headed in the direction of where you saw the first Marshal ship that should be coming up on the other side. Also heading towards where that message is. But you have a little bit to try to adjust for that as we move back onto the surface of the planet. And point 2, you all are hopping across the surface, traveling nearly like continent-sized levels of distance pretty quickly as you make your way to where the next location is. This one is, I believe, for the kitchen stuff. So this is the luxury cruise liner. And this is a truly massive ship. Like, picture like a car compared to the Titanic, and that's roughly the size scale between the Broderick Brothers little ship and this huge luxury liner that is just tilted over on its side, a massive breach, cutting it almost completely in half, with what looks like several huge impact craters of what could have been like a meteorite storm or something like that. Something hit this ship and hit it hard, but it is scrapped here. So you all make your way and land on one of the decks of this massive cruise ship. Where are you all headed? What you're looking for?
In cruise liners, all the behind the scenes stuff is usually at the lower levels, in like the crew quarters. Can I use shatter to try to like bust my way through walls to try to get like the crew quarters a bit faster?
Yeah, absolutely. You can try that.
So that's where Aster is looking. He's gonna go to probably looking in like the crew portion of the cruise liner.
Okay, Dee.
I mean, I'm gonna kind of follow Owl in that way, but I think the biggest thing Dee Dee's looking for here is like the galley. The kitchen components and stuff like that are probably going to be here.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what I said. The kitchens are normally.
You said the crew quarters. The crew quarters in the galley are not. That was
The
confusing.
galley is normally, and the cruise ship is normally in the crew quarters, like in the crew portion of the ship.
Okay. Well, I was.
Not where they sleep or anything, but like, the bottom 3 floors of a cruise ship are like crew only, because it's where they sleep and where they do their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Dee Dee's gonna be following him, looking for those things. As they go, if there's any kind of like, oh, this looks like a perfectly good, God, what kind of component could we make up here? Oh, this looks like a perfectly good capacitor. Let's just throw this in my pocket and things like that.
That will all depend on the investigation check you both are about to make me.
Sure.
I get some form of advantage for using a spell slot.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Well, you're gonna need it because I only rolled a 10.
It's a 17 investigation is plus 0, so 17.
Okay. Sure. With a 17, you all start traveling through this massive ship. Dee Dee, you immediately take a wrong turn somewhere with your team that you're leading around looking for this, and end up in a casino that seems like it has its own area code. It's so big, but it's a bunch of just chips and old broken down slot machines and different tables all turned over, just a general wreckage of a gambling hall. But Aster is able to give a call out to you all and help direct you back to where one of the main kitchens are. This kitchen is about the size of a Walmart. It is massive with just lines and lines and lines of stoves and fridges and just anything, sinks, plates. It's a complete mess of a room. There's things that have slid out away from walls that weren't anchored down and all that, but there's a lot of stuff here.
Well, time to get hacking.
So the main issue with this place that will take time is you all cannot bring the lander into the halls of this place. So it will be physically carrying out a full size of whatever you're trying to take out. So
Why I brought Rog.
yeah. So you have people with muscles. You have Rog. You have Maddox. Bach is a bugbear, so he's also big enough to carry stuff. So you have people that can carry stuff, but that's going to be the main issue there. So if there's any spell work you're wanting to do or any other way you're wanting to try to help make this easier on yourself, it is a difficult strength check to make to move this stuff.
Boy, I could cast guidance on people.
Sure. Okay, otherwise,
I'll give it to myself.
yeah.
Oh, I have an
Yeah.
idea.
What?
I'm gonna cast reduce on some of the super large stuff.
Ooh, very good idea. How many spell slots are you using for this?
It depends, I guess, on how many. Like, I imagine the oven/stove is probably the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, you tell me. I mean, like I said, it's a fully stocked kitchen, so you imagine Alwyn would need like the stove for sure. Like there's also like they have ranges or like it's kind of whatever you want. Like there's hoods to fume out. There is a hibachi style like flat iron grill. Then there's like a stove with like 4 burners on top of it and an oven underneath. And then there's like big double door freezers. And then there's more individual like freezer chests as well. So
well, I could only cast this 3 times, and I don't want to use all my 2nd level spell slots. But I mean, on some of the bigger thing, like this is again kind of important. So I will give up 2 of my 2nd level spell slots on 2 casts of reduce.
Okay.
I don't know what, like, because it's different. Like if you're physically there, we could be like, okay, this weighs 200 pounds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pounds, if you're wanting to use it onto the 2 easiest ones would probably be one of the freezers and one of the stoves. The stoves has those 4 burners, and the oven, that's probably the best thing. You probably should get the flat iron and also one of the refrigerator chests if you're wanting to take like everything Alwyn would need. The stove and the freezer alone are good enough, but if you're wanting to stock up, you also need to take those other 2. But reduce cuts its size in half and reduces to 1/8 of its normal weight. So those are much easier. I'm going to say that to carry just the stove and the freezer, you only need 1 person. Rog and Bach handle both of those easily, or they can be used on one of the bigger things that if you're wanting to grab something else, and you can have like the weaker crew members take those without a problem.
Right.
So, are you wanting to take the full lot or just those 2?
Thoughts from the rest of the OA team?
Let's go for it all. Why not?
Sure.
Okay. DD, I imagine you're one of the ones carrying one of the reduced things.
Probably.
Okay. So we'll say that Rog, Bach, Maddox, and Aster will carry the other 2 big ones. So Aster, give me a strength check. Flat strength.
Okay. This will have my guidance on it.
Sure.
Also, there's one other extremely small thing I would like to try to grab on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof. That is a 12 on the strength. I'd like to look for, like, one of those, like, single burner thing,
like hot
single
plates?
burners. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You can find a hot plate.
So I can use it, like, in my room.
Yeah. No worries. You find a hot plate.
But yeah, that's a 12 on the strength check.
Okay.
Like Alwyn's cooking?
I would like some tea, okay?
Roll the strength check for the boys. Oh, that's a 19 on the dice. This is why these big boys were brought here. You start carrying the refrigerator with Rog, and Rog takes the majority of it. He goes, "No, I'm gonna be the best and the strongest boy," and like throws the refrigerator over his shoulder with you kind of like hanging off of it for a second.
That's my boy.
And just starts sprinting back towards the door, trying to prove that he's the strongest boy. And then Bach and Maddox take the flat iron and are able to maneuver it out. And you all make your way back to the ship. That trip did not take quite as long as you all, with the use of those spells and that check, were able to move that stuff pretty quick. So we'll say that's an additional 30 minutes that it took you for spot number 2. So total time, 2 hours on the planet so far. All right, back in orbit. The rest of the crew is now aware that there are 2 Marshal ships around this planet, and Alwyn is trying to currently thread a needle between the 2 of them to try to bypass detection and let them go and chase after the signal that you all had sent out. You still have 3 bikes aboard, but I'll leave it up to you all if anyone's wanting to do anything or try to assist with the ruse. The signal transponder is still out there in the asteroid field somewhere. So, but Alwyn, what are you doing to also try to maneuver between where these 2 ships are heading?
Let's see. We're around a junker planet, I take it, right? So there should, a lot of the times there's a good bit of debris sometimes just floating around it.
Yeah, I'd say that's the case. Some ships that haven't been brought down to planet to be processed yet and stuff like that.
Can I hitch the ride in a shadow on one? Or kind of just hover around one?
First off, give me a perception check to find a good ship to hide in.
Ooh, it's gonna be a 4.
If Ash or Hank, either one, were on the bridge, they could also make that check.
Which one? Sorry.
Right.
You said
A perception check to find a kind of junker ship in orbit that you all could hide in.
Okay, I will add guidance to this because I have guidance now. I don't think it will help, but I'm going to do it. That's an 11.
Oh, that's a 14 from Hank.
Better than what I had.
We'll roll for the captain, too, who is there with you all. I'll roll that in front of the board. 8 plus a 7 for the captain is a 15. Hank, you and the captain spot something kind of at the same time. There is like a massive carved off piece of a hull that has like some burn marks along the outside of it. Looks like just a huge piece of trash that you all could probably like hide in the shadow of as it's like slowly just turning in its slow orbit. But that might be a spot big enough for the Soleil to fit in and hide successfully.
All right. Y'all cross your fingers.
You are going to give me a piloting check for the ship now.
Uh-huh.
You, I don't believe you have proficiency in this yet, do you?
Nope. I think I have like 1 cleared check so far.
Correct.
Can I give him guidance?
You can.
Wow, you get to add a 1d4.
And
Woohoo.
the captain will give you the help action as she kind of like looks over at you being nervous and like just gets in position to be able to take over if she needs to.
As much as you smell good, that's still crowding me. All right.
She gets like over your shoulders. Like, is this make it worse? Do you want me to be over your shoulder? Is this better? I'll watch. I'll watch.
Yeah. Is this sleight of hand, or is this?
We're gonna call this a flat. Wait, it says under your tools that one of your tools is vehicle space.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Why do you have that tool?
Because I'm a spacer.
What does it mean? What does that do?
I believe it. Yeah, hold on, my thing just went blank.
Oh, you might have proficiency with this.
Yeah, because that'd be cool. I forgot I had it because I took it whenever I made the character. What would that be in their features?
You can make proficiency with this roll because you have that tool. All right, so this will be a dexterity check plus your proficiency, so you have a +6 to this with a guidance.
Yay! Yippee!
That's a +6 plus a +4.
Plus a d4.
Plus a d4.
Oh, well, it ended up being a 4, but
Let's go.
That's 12 plus 6. That's 18. That's gonna be 22 without, and then the second roll is gonna be a 19 plus 6.
Oh hell
plus
yeah!
4.
So 29. Absolutely. You spot as the other Marshal ship starts cresting above the side of the planet in that like direct course, but within like where your like line of sight would be, and you dodge behind another wreck of a satellite, like keeping you and it like opposite, and then cutting the engines for a second and floating like space debris as a little bit of a corkscrew that you put on the ship turns you all into where this area is beneath this like massive piece of a hull. And just as the turn completes, the other ship breaks the side of the orbit, and both of them start heading out and towards the asteroid belt. But the Soleil is currently half just hiding, but mostly just free floating in space, as you all have cut all power to the engines and just are kind of waiting for those ships to get far enough away that they wouldn't be able to see you anymore. But it seems that you have successfully hidden from them for now.
Whew. Well, that was fun.
Captain pats you on the shoulder like, see, looking over your shoulder helped, didn't it? And she goes and sits back down.
Oh no, yeah, that wasn't distracting at all.
All right.
He had the utmost confidence in you.
Back on the planet. Spot number 3. You all are now headed for the final of the very important components, guns. So there is a massive naval ship that has been scrapped on a portion of the planet. A couple, actually, as there were a few different classes of naval ships that were all stored here after a massive battle happened somewhere, and all of these were discarded here. But last report that the projects had is they still had all of their armament still on them. So you all make your way to this other portion of the planet to look for where this is. Total time on planet is just over 2 hours now, as you all find this massive graveyard of space, like dark gray. Like if you're thinking of like Mass Effect style of like human ships, where it's that like very military gray and black with some very big cannons and looks like almost like railgun systems and stuff like that. Like they look like that class of ship, where it's just a whole graveyard of these really big things. But concerningly, you don't see any of the weapons on the weapon mounts for any of these ships yet. So as you all start to get closer to landfall and the lander leaves to start scouting out and looking for one of these with intact weapons, that is what our investigation check is going to be, is finding any of these with their weapons still on them.
Okay.
Would you like us to roll that?
Yeah, I said that's what your check would be.
That is a 14.
Come on. Rolled an 8.
Okay, you both are on the lander, and it's a really big section. Like, this is a massive area to search, and all these ships are kind of just piled on top of each other. So it's hard going, and you are not able to locate any guns on them yet. About 30 minutes pass for this search so far. Give me another roll.
Oof.
Oh, it's much better. That's a 23.
An 8.
Okay. DD on the lander is able to locate what seems to be an intact destroyer class ship with some of its guns still mounted on it. So you all relay that back to Maddox's the Broderick Brothers main ship, and they bring it down to where this destroyer is set up. And underneath its hull, you do see that there are 4 main battery cannons, what looks like parts of its roof that can like fall off, that have some of their like silos exposed and stuff like that, but it does seem to still be armed. So you all get aboard this ship after an hour at this location. We're going to let kind of DD decide what guns you are looking for here. This is destroyer class, so it does have like anti-air style guns, but that's largely what you all have now with your lasers. But there also is like a flak cannon. There's some just heavier like shell guns, like some long guns. But what are you looking for?
Well, I think that's what the captain actually asked for, was some more like long barrel mortar cannons, is what it sounded like.
Sure. How many are you wanting to get?
Let me look at the picture. Because that was a thing. Oh my god, which channel did I put it in? Or did I DM it to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I don't.
I sent you a picture of all the changes I wanted to make to the ship, and it had the new cannons on it.
Oh, I think that was
there were,
in the channel.
I think there were 5.
5 big guns?
Yeah, here we go. Ship changes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5.
Okay. You can absolutely try to do that. You'll get some of these like longer barrel guns, but the process to take these off is going to be more delicate than the kitchenware stuff was. It's easier to transport them. Your ship's right there, but these are hard point gun emplacements on a military level ship, so they are designed to not be removed from here easily.
Yeah, I mean, Dee will kind of holler at the guys, 5 is perfect, 3 we can get away with.
All right, and you all set to work trying to get these things out. We're going to say that this check is going to be a dexterity-based one. I'll let you use sleight of hand if you want, or if you have a toolkit that would work here, you can use that as well. Ask her if there's anything you're wanting to do to try to make this easier you can, or... I don't know if you have any
the only
proficiencies.
thing I could think of again would be, no.
Would it be toolkit plus my dex?
No, so if you have a toolkit, or it'd be your toolkit would let you use, I'd say it would let you use intelligence plus proficiency if you have a tool for it.
I don't know which is better.
It'd be your intelligence.
Kit or my sleight of, well, my sleight of hand is plus 5.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, yeah. Well, you'd be at a +7 if you were using your intelligence, though, because it's +4, +3, so...
Okay, I'll do that then.
So you can use Tinker's tools and get that +7. Aster, what were you saying that you could try to use?
The only thing I could think to possibly use would be another shatter to try to, I don't know, like dent the plating away to make it more able to access the inside.
Shatter, you can absolutely like blow, there's I-beams of steel, like kind of connected into parts of these, so you can use that to weaken and get these things out easier, for sure. So, this is like heavy duty, like military grade equipment, though. So it would probably take either a really high roll on Shadow, or I was gonna say, or upcast it.
Yeah, I'll set up on it.
Okay, I'll let that go ahead and roll your damage for that. You say you got a dirty 20, DD? Okay, Maddox will roll this with you. He got a nat 20 on his.
I mean, I could just maximize it, right?
Yeah, you can maximize it. Awesome. Between the dirty 20, the nat 20, and a maximized shatter, you all are able to get 5 of these guns out pretty dang quickly, honestly. I'm going to say that this entire stop to get those 5 guns out took, once you were on the ground, just a additional 45 minutes to do. So you all load up the guns and take off heading towards the next point. Total time on the planet is now 3 hours, just a bit past it, as you all take off. Okay, back in orbit. You all are free floating still, just kind of hiding behind this piece of metal and everything. It seems like you all have pulled this off pretty dang well as those 2 ships took off. You kind of have a bit of a moment to take a bit of a breather, as it seems like they are heading towards where the signal was boosted from a couple hours away. So you're not sure if they're going to return after they locate where this signal jammer was or not. But it's a 2-hour trip to get out to there and then back. So you all have at least another 2 hours of free time for right now. As you hope that none of them will be returning prematurely or anything. So you all can just kind of hang out.
That's a bit of an ass clincher. Ellen's gonna pull out a smoke and ease back a little bit, though he's still looking at the screen and the sensors.
Captain, I found a game of dice if you wanted to play a round, or 17.
17's such a weirdly specific number, Ash.
It is.
Whatever. Let's play a game.
That feels like a trap.
By 17.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes me worry about it just a little bit more.
Good. We're going to play a fun little game called Chessers. It's a mix of checkers and chess. Don't ask me how to play it, because I don't know. Nobody does. But I will cheat, and I will win.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand. Try to beat the captain's perception check. You're trying to beat a 21.
Okay. Counterspell.
Counterspell perception check.
Fireball.
Old move to think the captain doesn't expect cheating from Ash.
Yeah.
Can I roll deception instead?
For trying to cheat a game, no. I'm going to say it's a sleight of hand.
Damn. Well, it's still pretty good. I got 17.
17. All right. You cheat a couple of times and she doesn't notice, but then you try to make a bit of a flourish to take a piece, and you look back up and her gun's pointed at you, and she shakes her head and says, Ash, don't cheat. Come on. Ruin the fun of it. I've been cheating this whole time. And she holds up 5 of your pieces in her hand.
That's why it's 17 games. To see who catches. You see, by the time 17 rolls around, there's only supposed to be 2 pieces on the board.
I feel like he's bullshitting us right now.
Why does that sound like a big old pile of dung?
Yeah, the captain's going to insight check you. Roll deception.
I'd like to insight.
Yeah, go for it. She got a 17 on insight.
God damn it. The one time.
You roll 4. The captain, Hank, and Alwyn all just kind of stare at Ash for a second. The captain goes, Ash, are you getting worse at lying? Is that what's happening right now?
No, I'm just purposefully bad at lying to you.
I'd like to make a second insight check.
All right, back on the planet. Dee Dee, you've got the 3 essentials you need. You've been on the planet for about 3.5 hours at this point, but the Soleil hasn't communicated that there's any problems yet. So you can make a break for one of the next locations. What next location are you wanting to go to? For what?
I know one of the optional things on there was like extra supplies for the ships and repairs, and grabbing extra materials for things that people would want me to fabricate for them. I'm really hoping that like I don't know if that's one of the locations specific. I'm really hoping that that's something that we're just picking up along the way. So I mean, I really we have workbench left and a shield generator left.
So which one do you want to go to first?
Are we still by that battleship? Have we left yet?
No, I can say you're still around there if you want.
Well, before we take off from that location, can I do a reinvestigation for a shield generator? Because I feel like this place would have that.
This place took you all forever just to find these guns. It's been majority of it has been absolutely stripped. So you've not spotted any anything you'd have to go in and start investigating individual ships. The ones
That's
that
fair.
the one that on the map is the one that the Broderick brothers said had an active shield generator last time they had checked in on that area.
Okay, fair. Then yeah, let's go there.
Okay. You all start going for the shield generator then?
Yes.
That's what the little one says.
All right, you all start traveling towards a shield generator. This is what looks like a old royal vessel of some kind. There's a lot of pomp and just filigree around it and everything. It's even kind of set up haughtily compared to everything else on this junkyard plant, where there's like scaffolding and stuff on the sides of it, as if there was the intention to try to fix whatever was wrong with it at some point. But you all land outside of it and go up one of the scaffoldings to get on board the ship. As you all get on board the ship, you enter through what seems to be the bridge, is where the scaffolding has led to. And go ahead and give me your investigation checks.
19.
16.
Not bad. So what these investigation checks have let you all find out is, Dee Dee, as you get on this ship, it seems there is still some power aboard this. You look at some of the readouts on some of the equipment aboard the ship, and disturbingly see that the reactor of this ship is in what looks like a late-stage meltdown, and you all need to hurry. The shield generator is still operable and is still registering that it is on right now. But it is, exactly where it is on the ship. You can get there right away, but it's now a race against this reactor, as taking the shield out might cause it to start cascading.
Yeah, Didi would just kind of look at the rest of the crew and be like, oh god, we need to hurry, now.
Hey, little girl. Let's sprint.
Not little, I'm just short.
You all start sprinting through the halls of this royal class vessel, and you get out of the very pompous area down into the guts of it, where the actual ship is being run and stuff like that. And as you open one of these massive bulkheads to get into this area, you can hear and see a flashing red light and a klaxon blaring somewhere within the ship, as it is notifying that it is about to go critical. You all sprint full speed, the full team, running as quickly as you can, trying to get to where this shield generator room is. This ship has a lot of stuff on it, though, so I will let you all roll another investigation check as you're running through this ship to see if you find anything interesting that you could grab quickly.
14.
Oh, it's a nat 20, let's go! So 24.
Hell yes.
There we go.
Blank check, DD. What do you want?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Fuck.
I'll say that immediately outside of the bridge, there's what looks like a little gallery or something that you kind of divert to for a second, as there's some spotlights on some stuff, and you see what looks like a little wardrobe of royal items. It's hard to get a really good read without doing a bit more time, but with that nat 20, you see what could very easily be some magical items in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I don't know. There are so many things it could be.
I'll say that you can grab these 3 magical items. It's a couple, there's a jewel and a ring and what looks like a small sword of some kind, but they're encrusted in jewels and set up in this case, but you can just smash the glass and grab a couple of them pretty quickly. But you'll find out what those are later, but that's just for getting a nat 20 on the investigation for it.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You all... Yeah, is there anything else you were wanting to look for?
No, that's perfect.
Cool. You grab 3 items from this kind of display shelf and toss them in your bag as you all make your way deeper into the reactor core of the ship. You can feel like an occasional rumble and like what sounds like just shearing metal, like that long ear-splitting groan of like metal just kind of giving out in certain spots as you all get into the room with the shield generator. This effectively is a massive casting of the shield spell, but held continuously. You are able to, as long as it's powered, just send out a constant like bubble of energy that will deflect a lot of small arms fire and incoming damage, and will overall just give the ship an extra layer of protection. But it is fully bolted and in place and powered right now, so it's going to need to be shut down. And if it can be shut down safely, so that way it doesn't send the reactor into overload.
All right, we need to do this very carefully and in sync.
What's what you need us to do?
Yeah, all the boys nod and wait for your direction.
So basically, we have to shut it down, take it out of there, and run, right?
So effectively what the problem is here is that this reactor is going critical. This shield generator being up is the main draw of power from that, and once this draw of power is removed, there's going to be nothing stopping it from just like amplifying itself up and up and up until it goes into overload. You can try to do that in stages, like you can try to like slowly throttle down the amount of energy it's pulling, or if you're competent enough or able to like work it well enough, you might be able to turn on other systems within the ship to alleviate the strain of losing the shield generator and buy you some more time. The downside is if you are unable to do either of those things, you're just gonna have to rip it out and hope you have enough time to run it back out of this ship before it blows.
Right.
Lethal Company Dash.
Yeah. So random components of the ship are still running. You boys over there, shut down this area, and this area, and this area in that order, and let me know if these percentages drop below 40%.
They nod and get on the different stations around the room.
You two, while they're doing that, we need to be prepared to grab this thing and run. Go ahead and... what's the word? Like, don't pull apart the connections, but release their safeties and their clamps and everything. So if we need to grab this and go, it can just be ripped out.
Maddox smiles and kind of elbows Lash or Jackson a bit, who's your apprentice. Is we're just going to loosen it a bit, and walks over to the shield generator and gets started.
And I think while she's doing that, or while they're doing that, she's going to be looking at like where a lot of the coolant and things like the of that nature are being directed, and try to keep, you know, like, because temperature is another thing too, I imagine, in this situation. So
yeah, absolutely. It seems like that's the main problem that sent the reactor into its is one of the coolant tubes is completely out. It's just there's no coolant left anymore because it's been sitting in the junkyard for so long. So.
Right, so this is just a redirection of, like, you know, if y'all didn't know this in your car, you can use windshield wiper fluid as brake fluid in an emergency. We're in that kind of situation right now. We're just diverting shit from everywhere, trying to keep the system from going critical.
All right, then this is a very important intelligence check.
With guidance.
We'll call this an Arcana check. As you are working with these kind of spell boards, essentially.
Yeah, so add a d4.
Well, I have a big modifier in there, so let's hope. But yeah, let me grab my d4. Okay, there it is. Alright, let's go, baby. Nice, so that's a 19 plus, what did that hit? Plus 2, so 21.
Okay, 21 is not bad, but this does have a very high DC. You are able to shut off quite a few areas of the ship and then power up certain ones. You're able to like turn on like, you know, the atmospheric generator and like start trying to give power to engines that are like lost their core, but you're still like activating the cycle to start it up and stuff like that, just trying to pull power from wherever possible. And you finally get as much as you can done, and you hit the button to swap off of the shield generator, and the shield generator slowly powers down, and there's a like held breath moment of the like reactor doesn't start beeping louder, like none of the like monitors go off for like an imminent reactor failure. The sirens are still going, the klaxon's still going, the lights are still going, but it seems like for a moment everything's okay, and Maddox and Jackson just get to work quicker, like unbolting sections of the shield generator and everything. And that holds for a minute as everyone gathers around and starts moving, trying to get this thing out as quickly as possible. But then you see a light on the console behind you start beeping, and you watch as the readout of all the temperatures start to rise in much quicker than what you need them to. And you all got a boogie. So you need to get this unfastened and out the door right now. What are you all doing?
Calling back everyone who was watching the other monitors, and boy, we're just hoping that it's
Maddox and Jackson.
Jackson and Maddox are ready to disconnect it. Hope they've done their job.
Yeah, Dee Dee's just gonna kind of be like, all right, everyone, on my mark, are you ready?
They nod. They have the like actual like power cable and everything. The final things holding the shield generator, like it's already half cocked out of it. One of them's like holding on to a part of it, and they have the like final plugs ready to be pulled and everything.
Do it. We need to go.
All right. This is going to be a dexterity saving throw from everyone as you unhook this. Dee Dee, I'll say if you want to use reduce on the shield generator as well, it will make the DC easier, at least for the people carrying it. But you all are trying to make it out of here and back to the ship before this thing blows.
That's my last second on the spell slot. Yeah, I'd prefer it if we made it out and alive. Okay.
How many people are with us? Is it 5 of us?
It is you two, Rog, Bach, Jackson, the Maddox brothers, and their associate, Natalie. So there's 8 of you all.
8. Well, shit, is it worth it? There's probably nothing else we're using it for today. Oh.
I mean, could you blast us open a path directly out from where we are?
I could either do that, or I can give at least all of our crew members bless.
That might help, yep.
Which is
either one might help, because right now you're having to take the full way back up, but either way it's gonna be a roll. So
what does bless do? I think I would prefer to make the DC lower, presumably with a shatter, than just adding the +4.
You should have the spell slots to do both, don't you? If you wanted to.
Using my last second level, we did lower the DC a little too, so that should help.
Oh, you're using reduce on it?
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're using both shatter and bless?
Yeah, we'll do both. I think it'd have to be 4th level to get everyone from our crew.
Okay.
5 people.
Yeah.
I think, right? So yeah, that's my 1 4th level, and
I believe it's 3 people starting out, and then per spell slot you get an additional 1.
Yeah, so 5th level would be 5 people, which is half of the crew.
Yep.
And then we'll do shatter at 3rd level again.
Okay. So you blow up a piece of the hull of this royal ship, the scaffolding kind of scattering out away from you as you break open one of the closest pieces. You find a ramp that is close enough for you all to be able to move the shield generator back down onto and then out. But it is now a dexterity saving throw to race as quickly as you can out of there with the thing. And I will roll for the crew with you. It's not bad for the crew, and they get bless. Okay.
That is a 14 for Master.
Did you add your bless?
Yes.
Okay. DD?
I'm sorry, tell me the roll one more time. The neighbors.
Dex save.
Dex save, okay. +2, so 19.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so the crew ended up getting a 17, I think, all said and done. And between the three of you, you're able to reduce the size of the shield generator. Everyone takes off running. You get the shield generator back on board the boat just as it increases back in size again, and the Anders Broderick runs back on to the ship and slams the throttle, and you all lift up with the hangar bay still open, slowly closing, and you watch as that generator klaxon gets just quieter and quieter as you get distance and start to like put as much space between you all and the ship as you can, until suddenly in the distance you see a mushroom cloud of energy just expand up and out, and just feel your field of vision with a bright blossoming of light as that reactor goes critical. Everyone aboard the Soleil back in orbit, you all are just kind of staring at the monitors, looking out the window, and you all see a mushroom cloud somewhere on the planet's surface below you, kind of expanding out and then falling.
What are the odds that's one of us?
That seems incredibly bad.
I don't know. They're not shouting on the comms, so I guess it's okay.
So that trip to get to that ship in particular was a bit longer around the surface. You all have been on... you got the shield generator out pretty quickly once you found it and everything. But total time on the planet is now 4.5 hours. The Marshal ships should be returning soon.
Question, DM. Would that kind of explosion be normal, like on a planet like this, or?
You've not seen one yet, so you're not entirely sure.
Could
Okay.
I make the argument that on a junkyard planet, though, a ship breaking down over time isn't uncommon?
I mean, no, not necessarily. It's not that it isn't uncommon. It's just they're actively looking for some people, and an explosion happens.
Fair.
So,
That's fair.
but yeah, everyone up on the Soleil, are you just staying in position amongst this trash? Are you going to try to move and get to the point where Dee Dee said that they would be ending their salvage run, trying to make that pickup easier? The Marshals should be heading back now. They should, if they're returning to here, if they found that out what happened with the dud signal, then they'll be here within the next 30 minutes if they made a round trip.
Dee Dee kind of gave Maddox a little celebratory fist bump from the meltdown and then looked at her list. The last thing that I really wanted for us was some kind of workbench for me, but I absolutely could modify what's already on there. There was a pretty good workstation on our ship already. I should be alright, but...
Yeah, they both nod that there is a storage area where any ships that are broken down that have stations like that a lot of that is collected. So you should be able to get there and find something serviceable. So you all will make your hop towards that other place. What's the Soleil doing in orbit? Are you all going to stay hiding or go to the rendezvous point?
We should probably go to the rendezvous point before they get there, no? They're likely to have lots of things to carry.
Looking out, and we don't see any unfriendlies out on the way, right?
Not yet, you don't. But you're also kind of facing, the sun and the asteroid belt. So there's a lot of little black dots out there. So nothing is showing up as a ship on your radars yet, but you have a pretty strong disadvantage to be able to see them from the direction they're coming from.
Well, I guess if we're heading about that time, we should go ahead and head over there.
The captain agrees, and you turn all the engines back on. The ship powers back up, and you all gently glide away from this piece of wreckage, and the engines activate, and you all start taking off through the upper atmosphere of Pax, heading towards the rendezvous point, right at the night line of the planet where the final spot that Dee Dee said she'd be leaving from would be. As that is happening, you all start to travel back to the planet. Point number 5 for workbenches. You all land at a huge row. This is like the size of a city of just these huge warehouses that are hundreds of stories tall, all metal, all corroded. They look like they are in terrible position, been probably sitting here for, 30 to 40 years untouched. But there are just rows and rows and rows of these massive warehouses that the Project Brothers say have workbenches and stuff like that in them. So you all land amongst these warehouses and start searching around for what Dee Dee is looking for. Go ahead and give me your investigation checks.
$17.
Oh, that's an 11.
Okay. With an 11, Dee Dee, you kind of can't see the forest through the trees in an area like this. As every door you open, it's kind of like being an antiques picker, and you like find these mother loads with every single door you're opening. Like, there are so many tool benches of so many different types. Like, every type of hobby you could ever dream of, every type of manufacturing you could ever think of. Like, there's just workbenches for so many things, and it's you get very easily distracted and looking around. But Aster, you are able to locate an area that seems to be like industrial work grade benches for like starships and stuff like that. So this would probably have the area that Dee Dee would actually be using the materials for it. Dee Dee, what kind of workbenches are you looking for?
We do we have our like the spore workshop is on that ship and pretty prevalent because he was experimenting with it too. We definitely need some kind of arcana workbench because it would make the tinkering a lot easier, I think, and some kind of ballistics because I do make a lot of ammunition for at least 3 of us.
Sure.
And then the ship.
Anything else you can think of?
Not particularly.
All right. Easy enough to do. You all start looking around. This is an easier area to work out of, but it is going to be a sleight of hand check as all of these workbenches are stacked on each other, kind of like a hoarder's house where it's just chair after chair after chair stacked and stacked. And you see the one you want, it's just like halfway down the massive stack and you gotta get the other stuff off of it. So you're mostly just trying to maneuver in this massive warehouse. It's not difficult to see what you're looking for. You find both those workbenches incredibly easily, very common things to be working on in the astral ocean. So it's mostly just getting them out. So we're going to go ahead and have you both give me a sleight of hand check, and if there's any magic you would like to use to make that easier, go for it.
I don't think I have anything to make it easier. Besides guidance.
Oh, it's another nat 20 for 25.
Boy, that's good, because I rolled a nat 1.
Oh.
Cancel each other out.
Kinda.
A pile of things fall on top of me.
So either we're gonna have something like that happen where Aster and his team are trying to pull one of these out and the tower collapses, or I'll let you all decide that whatever I roll for the crew is the tiebreaker between the two.
I mean, you got to do tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll let the dice decide.
All right. We're just going to do high or low on the dice for the crew. If it's 10 or below, we're going to honor the nat 1. If it's 11 or above, we're going to honor the nat 20. Sound good?
Go for it.
Okay.
19. We honor the nat 20 as Aster starts to pull out one of the workbenches. The tower starts to lean, but Rog is there and he's pushing up the entire tower of workbenches. Strongest, best boy! And he lifts up the tower and lets Aster slide the workbench out from it, and then lets it collapse in. And as he lets it collapse back down, it starts to fall, and then another one falls behind it, and another one falls behind it, and there is a massive, domino set of, this warehouse as a cacophony of just these workbenches crashing into each other and getting shattered. Dee Dee, you have no idea what Aster's problem was, as you and your crew are able to get yours out fairly easily with just a little bit of lifting and finagling. But you have both those workbenches in great working order, and you...
Hoot, growl.
Hoot, growl, hoot, growl. And you all...
No, you're master of your heroics.
Rog just kind of flexes a couple times. He goes, best boy. That is another hour that passes as you all get those desks and get them back onto the ship. 5.5 hours in orbit. Soleil, you have left the point heading towards the final stop that the Broderick Brothers ship is heading for. And that is when finally you get a ping of the Marshall ship and you are able to see them coming back. You are on just the sun side of the planet right now, and there's nothing between you all and these ships currently. What are you all doing?
I don't like that.
Can we hide by landing?
It's gonna take what? You want to go planet side with this big ass ship?
I mean, if we could somehow potentially do, if there's no other course of options here, what else would you suggest?
Well, I would rather our away crew be up here now. Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
Question, DM, do I know where Kai is?
Give me a perception check.
It's a 5. I have no idea where he is.
Did you lose my dragon child?
You look around the bridge and you do not see Kai.
God damn, I'm gonna try and track him down because I've got an idea.
Sure. You run around looking for Kai. Give me an investigation check.
You lost my dragon child.
That's a 13.
A 13? Okay.
Listen,
You spend the better part of 30 minutes looking for Kai and you don't find him anywhere on the ship.
God damn it, where's the goddamn minders?
Aloin, you look beside you and Kai is in the captain's lap right now.
Lamau.
I don't see a problem there. Figured the kid would be kind of glued to her anyways.
Yeah, despite the captain's hesitation at first, Kai seems to have bonded to her very quickly, as the captain's nonchalantness about most things lets him just kind of play around her without her bothering him too much.
Alright, how long do we figure until they get to us?
The captain checks the route that Dee Dee had proposed and shakes her head and checks the time overall. You all didn't expect it to take way too long, but 6 hours for a trip across this planet is about as good as you could have done, and you all are right at that point with only 30 minutes remaining. The captain kind of shrugs and says, well, if they're not close, I mean, we can just fucking, what are we doing? And she taps something on the console and opens a radio connection with the Broderick Brothers ship. And hey, we got marshals inbound. Where you all at?
5 out of 6 completed. We are just leaving to go to the 6th location.
The captain kind of nods over at you, Alan, and says, all right, we're above 6. If you could make it snappy, we need to get going. We got maybe 45 minutes before they're on us.
What are we acquiring here, DD?
Yeah.
Can we skip this location?
Dee Dee kind of looked at her list. Well, we have picked up a lot of things along the way. We can really just hope it's enough to count as spare parts.
Yeah, that is the big thing you've not gotten for sure, is spare parts to fix the ship, which is pretty important, but you've collected a lot of things, but a lot of them are things that are going to be used, you know?
Here's the thing. We have everything we need, but if anything breaks, we're toast. That's why we need that last spot.
How about this? 15 minutes. In and out, quick adventure. Then we boogie.
She nodded. Alright.
Captain, I could take us into a low orbit just for a quick little skip jump right around the when we see them coming up, just to make things easier.
She kind of grimaces a bit and says, we gotta really burn to get in and out of Atmo, so we move kind of slow. I don't know if it'd be better to let them make the push to get to us and then we hit it or not, but we're going to be slowed down by that Broderick's ship kind of regardless, aren't we?
Either way.
Maybe if we could offload them really quickly onto us, it'd help them move a bit. Maybe we could tow them. You still got that cable, or did Dee Dee take it?
I don't know. I've been up here.
All right. We'll figure something out.
Hank, while you're like running around the ship for some reason, can you check and see in the hold if there's some like that cable that got left?
Yeah, sure. I'll look at the hole. I haven't checked her yet.
Did you take that?
Where the hell did that?
Did you take that cable, Dee Dee?
I mean, did we need to
Not
tow
necessarily,
the
no.
wings if we brought the Broderick ship?
Yeah, it's strapped up to the Broderick ship's net currently.
So if we have their salvage equipment, then no, she wouldn't have needed to bring it, and I feel like that absolutely would have been discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you all still have the tow cable, so if you need to, someone could take one of the bikes and attach it to the Broderick ship or something like that.
Well, while we're waiting on them, does somebody want to go on a tether and just put a couple latches out there and get them ready?
I am not great with the bikes yet.
Nobody is great with the bikes yet.
Well, I am now that I found out that I can actually fucking pilot this shit.
Did you want to then, and the captain can take over for the driving?
You know, I was just getting comfy, but fine. Let me go put my ass back outside.
All right, Alwyn goes and starts getting one of the bikes ready and opening the hangar bay in that low orbit to start hanging or hooking on the hard points for the tow cable.
Yay.
It's about this time that your ships ping with the marshals, which means they also see you. So the captain calls down over general comms like, marshal ships have turned direction, headed towards us, battle stations, everyone. And a bunch of the crew run to their guns and stuff like that, getting everything ready for that. Unfortunately, Dee Dee did not make another shot yet with the forward cannon, so you just have the small arms fire for now if it does come to a firefight. But the crew starts getting ready, and the ship starts getting into position to defend itself if it has to, as we head towards the final point, the scrapyard for equipment and stuff like that. So you all hop over. You see the Soleil in orbit above you as you make your way to the very edge. It's like evening on this part of the planet as you land and get back into a really big open junkyard area. There is just piles of stuff here in different sections, but a lot of it is really good equipment. It looks like this seems to be a recent area of the junkyard that has been set up, as all of the metal is still like new. It's not rusted yet. There are some points that have like some patina on them and stuff like that from being left out in this like acidic rain and stuff, but overall it is a very well stocked area of a lot of components of ships, like harder to manufacture things and just general stuff that you could use to repair if need be. So this is going to be a investigation check to see what all you can find for it. This is just how much of this stuff is viable that you can load up and bring back.
Jesus Christ. 8.
Oh no, I rolled 5. That was a nat 1.
I don't know if did you keep or earn another inspiration?
I did not.
Okay. Maybe the crew will have better luck.
They roll a 3.
Okay, we don't find shit.
You all start going through these different sections, like ripping up different stuff, seeing if you can find anything useful. It starts to take longer than you want it to, with the captain saying you had like a hot 45 minutes, 20 minutes pass, and your pile of scrap doesn't look great for potential so far. But as you're looking through all of this, there is a shuffling of some metal on one of the pillars, one of these big mounds of scrap, and climbing over the edge of it, you all see what looks to be a almost robotic looking dog creature. It's got like this black metallic, like arrow shaped head with these like bright red kind of pinpoints of robot eyes on the side of its head. And it gets up further on this hill, and the Broderick brothers both go, "Oh, shit! Howler! Howler!" And start to run to grab weapons as this dog opens its mouth with a loudspeaker and starts howling. And you hear that call answered by a lot more of them. And we will end the session there for tonight.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
So Didi and Asta had a long life, a fulfilling life.